Hail and well met. Welcome to the Dungeon Scrawlers, part 5 of the Isekai Realms one-shot, run by Chris the Gray there, who we will get to after everyone else in the intro. Chris, you keep us going, but it's such a good game, so I'm very glad. I am Eric Scott DeBee, writer, author, game designer, sometimes DM on the stream. Not tonight. Tonight, I am an aspiring paladin with significant PTSD issues named Elric Thalavar, because that's what I said, because my nephew calls me Elric and I think it's cool. So, and I wield Vindicator, but I am otherwise a second level fighter I'm a second level warrior in second edition terms. I don't think Chris's
first level.
First level. Dang it. I was trying. First level warrior. In D&D second edition terms, I don't think Chris has officially made me a fighter yet. Maybe he will, maybe he won't make me a fighter. Maybe he'll make me a paladin. Who knows? Anyway, I also wanted to remind people that I have a Kickstarter going on. We have cleared 70% funding. We have 10 days left. It ends on the 18th of February. If you put in !justice in the chat, which I will do right now, or have done in the past, since there is a time delay, it will take you to the Kickstarter. Yeah, check it out. A superhero novel that I'm writing. I've been writing about these characters for a while, but I thought it was time for them to have their own novel. So check it out. Take it away, Rhiannon.
Hey, I'm Rhiannon Held. I write urban fantasy under Rhiannon Held and space opera under RZ Held. And my space opera series of novellas, the Amsterdam Institute series, is now complete. So if you like complete series and you like cool sci-fi wings and like brain implants and like snarky AI characters, you should check it out. I'm also going to tell you about a couple of our sponsors. Norse Foundry makes metal dice, and you can find their dice and their gaming accessories at norsefoundry.com. And Phoenix Dice is named for the creature that rises from the ashes because they use all recycled materials. So we got a number of cool deals for you. Tonight we have a giveaway anywhere in the world for one set of dice from Phoenix Dice. And you can enter by typing !ticket in the chat. And also, if you go to phoenixdice.com, you can get 10% off at checkout by using the code Dungeon Scrawlers, all one word.
Excellent.
All right. Well, hi, everybody. I'm Alexandra Pitchford, or Allie. You often see me in the chat as Shay Darksong. I am a writer, game designer, and TTRPG streamer. And yeah, I'm playing myself today, so that's fun. I am presently, I guess, a level one thief. So who would have thunk it, right? Gee, cat at good thief. What's happening here? So I'm going to tell you about another of our sponsors, which is Idle Champions of the Forgotten Realms. And that is a strategy game that unites iconic Dungeons and Dragons characters from novels, campaigns, and popular shows into one epic adventure, including Farida, Havilar, and Mehen from the Brimstone Angels novels. It's available on PC and Mac on Steam, and PC and Mac on Steam and Web, Epic Game Store, Google Play, Xbox One, PlayStation 4, Nintendo Switch, iPad, iPhone, and on all Android devices. And don't forget that there are 4 days left of the Grand Revel, so do take part in that if you want to get your hands on Brother Uriah from the Black Dice Society, because time's running out on that one. So, for more information, just check out idlechampions.com.
Woohoo! Woo! Hi, I'm Randy. Author and gamer, and I just wanted to talk really quick about the Trevor Project. We're collecting donations for the Trevor Project. It's an awesome organization. thetrevorproject.org. Reach out if it's for LGBTQ plus youth and allies, and they have really great, if you go on to the online chat, for example, you can just hit escape really quick, 3 times really quick, and it gets it, closes it, deletes it from your browser and stuff. So I know there are a lot of safety things put in place so that you can feel safe and comfortable reaching out for support when you need it. And they also have Trevor Space which is online social, their own online social community. It's a really great place to go. So please donate and support that amazing organization.
Hello, everybody. I'm Joel Everett. I am a second level warrior and currently holding Vindicator on Eric's behalf, though terrified at the prospect of using it. So probably will be using the crowbar currently in my backpack instead, since I don't have any other weapons. Usually I'm one of your mods under the handle of Rumpus Imperator, but tonight I'm playing myself. So Chris, over to you.
All right. Thank you kindly. Eric, anything else or all set?
Oh, I did want to take one moment to point out that I am using my whiskey keg, which my colleague and friend V gave to me. And as you can see, it dispenses. And and it has its own little stand, which I just set next to the computer.
So is this refillable or did it?
Oh,
come with
yeah.
One. Okay.
Oh yeah, it's refillable. You're supposed to put in like you can put in like herbs and stuff to make your own just various kinds of like blends, and it's really neat. I really like it. I also really like bourbon, so
There you go.
You really liked it the last time we played as well, if I recall.
I'm sure that had nothing to do with me confronting those two muggers. Anyway,
It's a theme. It's a theme.
Whatsoever.
Confronting. Yeah.
It did just dawn on me. I should, with all this talk of alignment, I really should not touch Vindicator.
oh, you really should not. Yeah,
Ooh.
that's why I handed it to Joel, not to Allie.
Thanks. Eric's taking care of you.
I didn't hand it to Randy either because Randy's a wild card.
Don't you mean Randonius?
Randonius, yeah, that's right. Randonius.
Imperius and Exonius Maximus. Yeah.
Yes, indeed.
Oh my God's below.
So
All right.
when last we left our heroes, they had made their way from the gate beneath the city across town to what is almost certainly Briar House in this age. Along the way, Eric took a dip into two things: service to Helm and poo. And I will leave it to all of you to decide which of those went better. And upon arrival at the Briar House of this age, you met the mistress of the house, Jamal the Thespian, and you had some conversation in the next to the fire in the parlor as Eric was being depoopified, talking amongst yourselves and talking with her. You gave just basic explanations of who you were and why you were here. She offered you some hospitality, particularly when she discovered that there was a bard among you, as she was looking for assistance with a performance or two over the next couple of days, tomorrow being Midsummer, the day after that being Shield Meet. And she explained the concept of cheap heroes to you all. She also asked Eric whether or not he was a member of the Thalavar family, something he denied in conversation. And that is more or less where we left everyone. She will, since it is quite late at night or early in the morning at this point, depending upon your perspective, say to you all that she's taken up enough of your time at this late hour. She has many remaining questions, but she can ask those of you in the morning when you've had a chance to at least get some sleep. I assume that's what you'd want.
Yes.
Yeah, I'll quietly say to her, "Hey, do you have some something strong to drink? My friend had a pretty rough day. He could probably use it."
I will have Varys find some dwarven ale.
Oh, that
That
sounds
should
exciting.
that should put him right to sleep.
We need to hand the babies off to somebody.
She'll look somewhat quizzically at you. You brought them in. Did you not want to have them sleep in your room? Really?
We wanted them to, we were taking them to safety.
You know that
We were not
voice-
keeping them.
You know that voice you sometimes have in your head, Rhiannon?
Yeah.
It's going to be back, and it's going to say, do we really know anything about this woman such that we are prepared to hand off these children to her already?
I mean, so she's vouched for by May, and we don't know anything about May,
Yeah.
except May could have left us to die repeatedly and like thrown the baby to a monster with the babies to a monster or something. So
Yeah.
I trust May being invested in having the baby safe, and therefore I'm trusting Jamal.
I cannot stop you, but I do not believe that this is a wise course of action.
Yeah, I'm not willing to trust the babies to a stranger any more than I was willing to trust just drink what she was offering. So,
Well, here.
at the door, but
You have
Okay.
that.
that's fine.
All right.
I'll care for the babies.
She will say when she sees you guys have a brief conversation within your group, the speed of thought is fairly fairly quick. So people might notice that you're pausing for an instant, Rhiannon, when you're talking to yourself. But that occurs much faster in your head than it does in conversation. So as a consequence, they don't really stare at you too quizzically unless they have a real insight into what's going on. And she'll say, I will get them some swaddling clothes, something that you can use to change them, and I'll make sure that they have milk, sheep's milk in the morning. Is that fair?
That would be
Thank
great.
you.
Maybe a couple of drawers we can use as makeshift cribs.
The room that I'm having you use, rooms really, have an overabundance of things. So I'm sure there's
Okay.
something in there that you'll find to your pleasure. I apologize for their state, but my basement was destroyed in an unfortunate circumstance some 2 months ago, and I had to relocate a lot of what was there upstairs, and I haven't really had a chance to go through it since. Maybe tomorrow we can do a bit more with it when we talk about the performances. But for now, Mercy, would you be so kind as to take them all upstairs and then to bring them some water and some ewers? Yes, mistress. This is the half-elven girl, little more than a girl, who serves Mistress Jamal as a housekeeper, maid, that sort of thing. She will say to whomever appears to be in charge, who does appear to be in charge in your group?
Rhiannon.
She'll say, Rhiannon.
Yeah.
Eric charges. Rhiannon's in charge.
We'll see if Eric gets charged.
Eric charges. Randy chants. Rhiannon's in charge.
Fair enough. So she will say to Rhiannon, Milady, this way?
Thank you. We don't have titles though, but
What is your name, Milady?
so I'm Rhiannon, and then
Rhiannon.
I'm going to stop because I am not aiding and abetting any of this nonsense. You can tell her whatever names you want.
Okay, she's looking to the rest of you patiently.
Oh, for our names?
Well, I know you are Maximus?
You can just call me Randonius. All my
Randonian.
friends do. Yeah.
And you, tall sir?
I am Elric.
Elric.
Pleased to make your acquaintance, Elric.
Well met indeed, Elric.
They're very pale in my family.
And you, miss? Allie, that's you?
I'll pause for a second because I'm trying to determine, do I really want to give my real name at this juncture, or do I want to come up with an alias?
You want to come up with an alias?
It's a whole new world. Why not reinvent ourselves?
That's right.
I
I did.
Bristow. Just kidding.
Oh,
You know, she does kind of have a Sydney Bristow look going with the colorful
Yeah.
hair.
Yeah.
Man, all right, we're dating ourselves a little bit. Alias came out 20 years ago. Let's be clear about this.
Yeah.
oh dear God. Now I feel old. Anyway,
No. Sorry. 25 years ago.
Oh,
Sorry.
twisting that knife. Okay.
Go ahead, Allie.
It just that's a difficult question.
Are you going to say that? That's a difficult question.
No, I just say call me Mara.
Mara. Very good. And you, sir?
Joel Paulson.
Joel Paulson. Joel Paulson. Well met, Joel Paulson.
And you as well, Mercy.
If you'll follow me, and she will take you up the curving set of stairs in the entryway. If our technical wizard could bring up first floor at this point, this will look familiar to those of you who may have seen it before in a differing incarnation. It is not exactly the same as this model I have of it that was generously provided for me by Yang Yang. But it gets the job done. The basic layout of the house is identical. Do you see the curving staircase in the entryway?
Yeah.
That is where you're being led up as we speak. The hall to the left of the entryway is where you are having your conversation. And the fireplace was brewing. If you could bring up second floor.
The place looks so nice without all the holes in the wall and the.
Right?
We repaired those.
That's true. That's true.
They haven't happened yet.
This place looks a little rough. As I said, its windows are battened down and there's garlic cloves about. And it looks like it's prepared for a siege. So as you come up onto the second floor, she will lead you to that hallway to the left that sort of curves over. And open a door with a key that she has on her belt, leaving that door unlocked, to a room that is about 20 by 25 feet. It's a bedroom. It has two windows, as you can see on the map. They are barred and shuttered with garlic hanging above them. On the front and left walls, there's a dresser, a table, a chair, a bed, long disused, and they have tossed all over them costumes of all kinds, puppets, props, discarded all over. There is a brazier with coal in it, sitting by the side of the bed that is probably used to heat the place as necessary. It is, however, midsummer, so you could sleep comfortably in here without heating it. All the windows being closed, it stinks a bit of garlic because there are garlic cloves above them. There are three exits to a hallway, to an open closet or storage room, which you can see in sort of the north part of this room. Again, chocked to the gills with props and costumes and, you name it. And then to a set of stairs curving up. She will say, this room and the room above it in the turret are meant to be yours. Again, I apologize for the mess. Ferris and myself, we moved everything up from the basement that we could. We weren't expecting guests.
Mercy, could you tell us what happened in the basement?
She'll pale a bit
Mm-hmm.
as you ask that question, look away, and say, I think that's a story best told by Mistress Jamal. I should get you water. And she departs in a hurry.
And some more of a nail.
Oh, yes, yes. You are alone on the second floor. It is dark in this room, as she did not bother to leave you any light. She had a candle. She took it with her. Someone asked her an awkward question.
Sorry. Oops.
So what do you want to do?
Check. Okay. Check to make sure that the windows are. Well, wait, they're barred,
Well,
aren't they?
Deploy nightlight. Is what I'm gonna do first.
Nightlight deploy. All right, so you can see the room. You can see the stairs leading up.
That won't freak her out when she comes back.
I forget. Are all of our tattoos or only Rhiannon's glowing at this point?
Only Rhiannon's, because only Rhiannon has decided to deploy a nightlight. However, you know that each of you has the capacity to create that glow. The glow that tends to come from some of you is a slightly different color than the glow that comes from others.
That's right. Okay. There were three colors? Or
Yes, more or less.
Okay.
Red, yellow, and silver.
I think at this point, I will kind of activate my own glow and at least head up the stairs to check out the room in the turret.
Okay.
Kind of get a lay of everything.
Your glow is of a matching color to Rhiannon's. And does anyone want to accompany Allie up there, or just simply let her go up by herself?
I'll go up with Ellie.
Okay.
Yeah, good not to be going around anywhere alone.
I don't
Please
have
don't
my,
let
Yeah.
I
secure
don't
the
have my
space.
glowing sword, so it's not too bad.
Fair to say all of you then?
Well, I mean,
That's a-
because I was gonna say I was gonna start like organizing down here to get ready to sleep. but-
Totally. Go ahead.
Organizing a fashion
Sure.
show. We got costumes. We got pretty lights.
Yeah.
The
Actually, I was
this is
like-
mother load, Randy. This is like mother load.
I'm
of
like
costumes.
halfway up the stairs, and I'm like, no.
Okay. All right.
I would actually join Rhiannon in going through the costumes, seeing if what kind of condition are they in, what kind of shows are they for.
Okay, so what's going to happen then is it's going to be Rhiannon, Randy, and Joel down on this floor. It's really kind of the same floor, and Allie and Eric going up to the turret. So those of you in the room, as I mentioned, there's a smorgasbord of things here. These are stage clothes, so they're designed to be sort of dramatic, but there's every class one can imagine. There are no doubt what are meant to be subgroups that don't make a whole lot of sense to you, perhaps. Maybe that's meant to be the livery of a noble house, and this is meant to be a particular church. But if you wanted to try to pretend to be something, this would be a good place to start. The clothing is well made, if a little serviceable. You probably know the difference between costumes designed for stage performance and clothing that you wear on the street. This is designed more for how it looks than how it wears over the long term, but at least in the short term, it would probably fool most people. So you're certainly thinking to yourself, look at me, look at this, look at me, look at this.
Been wearing the same clothes. How many weeks have we been doing Isekai Realms? And this is
You are about 4+ hours into the game.
Still the
right,
first
right.
night.
But I literally have been wearing the same outfit just to be
Yes.
consistent every episode. So.
Admit it, Randy. I appreciate that commitment.
And whether I've changed my clothes in between is only I can tell.
only you know. And those who would be in the room.
Oh.
But in any event, up the stairs, the room atop the turret is really atop the sunroom in the house, right? It has an odd shape. If you looked on the map, not quite rectangular, about 20 by 15 or so, with 3 windows, 2 of which are in window boxes that have like little landings that lead to them. Exposed roof beams in the ceiling. Again, all the windows up here are boarded shut. There aren't garlic cloves up here, so take that for what you will. There is a bed, there is a desk, but the room is stacked full of puppet stage equipment, costumes, and here you've got dummies and racks for things, so it's not as much clothing as it is on the in the room below, as much as there's all kinds of things on this floor above. There are even suits of like armor and whatnot up here. Whether or not those are real or costume props would require you to touch them, but it's dark, all the windows are closed, but you have the glow.
You know, if it weren't for the clutter and I'll pause for a second, and the dummies, this would be almost like a little bit of a dream room, honestly. I love this kind of stuff. Just like poking around.
So we're in the character creation screen.
Yeah, there you go. It is really interesting, and there are a wide assortment of things to sort of play with. So you're sort of fighting a combination of sleep, because frankly, you've reached the adrenaline is worn off, and you're now into sort of exhaustion and shock because you're in a safe place for the first time since you arrived. And you don't know, whether you awoke from a lengthy sleep when you got here. You haven't really had a chance to eat anything substantive. You've been traipsing around from place to place in dangerous situations. You've been in a couple of fights. So you're worn out, but you're also excited because, again, you're in a new playground of sorts. We have this ability to, rifle through all kinds of gear and equipment. Do you wish to stay up here or return back downstairs?
I might stick around up here for a bit. Just kind of like, is the bed clear?
No, neither of them
No.
are clear.
So I might start moving stuff off the bed and trying to rearrange things a bit so at least somebody can sleep in one of these.
These beds would easily accommodate 2 full-size humans, 3 if they're friendly.
Fair enough.
All right.
Allie,
Hmm?
I'm sorry. I freaked you out. I didn't mean to. I freaked myself out a little bit.
Yeah, I could tell. I mean,
But you're right, and I want to thank you for pointing out what you did. It's very important.
Oh.
I've been thinking about it in the 30 minutes that have elapsed since that moment. He says about the game a month ago. And whatever Helm wants me to do, I'm going to try not to kill anyone. I will find a
Look.
different solution whenever possible.
you know me well enough to know that I'm not going to tell you that I'm not going to like make you swear to a promise to never kill anybody. In a place like this, it might happen. We don't know.
We're just talking about how you're chaotic good, Allie. Of course, you're not going to make me swear to a promise like that.
Were we talking about that, Eric?
Were we talking about that, Allie?
Not in game.
No.
No. Such a meta game.
Regardless, look, I'm not. I know how unrealistic that is. Like, we're in a place where it's going to be dangerous. We may have to kill people. Those people didn't.
I know.
At least at that juncture, didn't deserve to die. That was my issue.
Well, I mean, we don't really know, but that's my point.
Well,
Like,
that's
we
the-
shouldn't
yeah,
judge
that's the
them.
thing. we didn't have all the information, and while they had come up to us, they hadn't made a move to attack yet.
Right.
Like, at most they'd kicked a guy. Like,
What
that
I'm
was
saying is, I'm going to try and avoid killing anybody because
okay.
it's hard to kill people. I mean, it's hard because it's easy. That's what I'm saying. So,
Help me clean off the bed.
I will. Thanks. Anyway, I don't know what I'm saying. Let's do this.
Don't
Yeah,
you feel
let's-
so much better at ease now, Allie? Like,
Oh yeah.
I don't know. Do either of us feel better about that dialogue? I don't know.
That's entirely up to you. So returning down the short flight of stairs to Rhiannon, Randy, and Joel, you're attempting to make the room as livable as possible while Randy admiring all of the exciting shiny things that you're picking up and putting down as you are doing so. Is that a fair assessment of the situation?
I'm showing them to the babies to keep them entertained and
Yes.
stuff like that. Yeah.
They seem fairly sleepy. They look
good.
like they're ready to conk out.
Oh, that's good. I was a little worried about I might have to go someplace to like separate from everyone else so they could get some sleep if the babies are.
They
You
seem
know it's a
to
fantasy
be-
game if they sleep through the night.
Yeah, yeah.
They seem to be a little less colicky than what you've been given to expect of babies, and they seem a little bit more carnivorous in terms of what they're able to digest without any trouble than what you've been led to expect of babies. So maybe you just got lucky in the baby lottery. Time will
Right.
tell. Okay, so as you're doing this, getting the room ready, there will be a tentative knock upon the door.
I'll go open it, presuming it's Mercy.
That is a correct presumption. She has a set of 2 ewers and a large jug of water. She will say, to clean up
Thank you.
and for your ablutions, you'll take that from her.
Yeah.
She will say, I will be back in a moment with the strong drink.
And I'm going to say just a second, and I'm not going to like go over it on stream, but I do want to ask her about sort of like, where are the privies, chamber pots? What are the details there, just so I can know?
These ewers you are being given are them. So yes, not an ideal situation, but when it's the morrow and you have an opportunity to more clearly explore the place, you'll be given a bit more information to begin with.
Ask for some candles or lamps.
That too.
she will say, she's now noticing that you're glowing,
Oh,
unless you
shit.
stop glowing.
No, I didn't stop glowing. I just answered the door.
Okay. I apologize. I should have brought I will be right back with candles as well, Madam Sorceress. And
There,
off
oh,
she-
there it is. I was gonna say she thinks you're magic now.
Well, we are kind of magic.
Kind of cool.
So you can
Yeah.
hear Eric and Allie tromping around upstairs. They're probably clearing off the beds as well. Have you guys given some thought to where everyone's going to sleep?
How many beds are downstairs?
There is one bed downstairs and one bed upstairs. The beds will hold 2 individuals, 3 if they're friendly.
Sounded like there's enough clothes and other soft materials that we could essentially probably create a couple of little nests in the room, you know, to
Hmm.
That's a fair assumption.
Yeah, I don't mind taking a nest.
I'll take a nest in front of the door, like
Okay.
laying in front of the door so it can't be opened without hitting me.
yeah. And I'm fine sharing a bed or taking a nest, but with the babies, it's probably better
Yeah.
than taking a nest. That's my only concern.
I
Okay.
still smell really bad.
You don't smell great. None of you really smell great. You'd love to take a bath. There doesn't appear to be a tub in here, but you're more tired than you are concerned about that at the moment. That's a morning problem.
Because I'm
Oh,
just going
yeah.
to take a bed.
All the gods for a prestidigitation spell. I lie down on the floor.
Because if you're going
Okay.
to make me be in charge, I'm just going to take a bed.
Nope, that seems totally reasonable.
Yeah, fair. Well, if Eric is like laying down on the floor up here, I'm gonna plop down on the bed because if there's no.
All right. It appears as though the ladies are taking the beds. You gentlemen will be sleeping on the floors. Is that a
Yeah.
fair assessment?
That
Yeah.
seems about right. Yeah.
Fair
And-
enough.
It's probably good if there's sort of warrior or whatever the heck on either floor. I mean, I don't know that we're expecting anything to come in through the windows of the turret, but
Can we take some of the garlic
Yeah.
can we divide up the garlic, take some of the garlic from here and move it upstairs?
Probably a good idea.
all right,
Good.
people who know lore, does garlic actually work?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Well, I mean, it
yeah, but
depends.
I
It
don't,
depends.
I don't
on the
remember in
edition.
second E.
It does kind of depend on the edition. Some vampires are resistant to garlic and some are very susceptible.
Hmm.
These vampires, I couldn't tell you exactly.
I heard if you have a pickle in your pocket, it. So,
Well, the people here think it'll work, apparently.
Andy,
So-
that was a running gag from our campaign.
yeah, no, I know.
No, I
not real,
say
not
that
real.
in the game.
Yeah.
All right.
And then if there's like silver, like if any like costume jewelry or anything like that has silver, we might want to like kind of collect that. And
You
I don't
could go
know.
hunting for it if you'd like to, but that would take time and light.
gotcha. All right. Nah.
I mean, you can't really tell silver by looking. You'd have to sort of.
You can if it's
Mhm.
tarnished.
Yeah, true.
Are any of the weapons actual weapons?
Most of them are prop weapons.
Mhm.
Up on the turret floor, there does appear to be a little cluster of real armor and real weapons.
Oh. Okay. What kind of
What?
armor and weapons?
There's 2 suits of armor, a suit of leather armor, sized for a woman, and a suit of plate mail with the symbol of Tyr on the center.
Well, shit.
I mean, I hope the leather armor is sized for a tall woman because
Allie is pretty tall, it's true.
I would say anywhere between 5'6" and 5'10" would work.
might be a bit of a tighter fit, but I could make it work. Probably,
just-
maybe.
You
It's
got the
just
bare
gonna
midriff
look-
going.
It's just
Yeah,
gonna look
exactly.
hot. That's what we're saying.
Fair.
It's
I
black
will.
leather, so it is, and it's supple, so it's designed for someone who's creeping around wearing it.
Okay,
There you go.
I'm down then. I will immediately. I will glom onto that. I will be like, oh, hello.
You are my new friend.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, I'm
birthday.
like calling up the stairs, like, leave the clothes for tomorrow morning.
Right. You said there were weapons as well, though.
There are 2 pole arms that are actually pole arms, probably glaives, nobody really remembers that page from the player's handbook unless they do. Okay, Joel does. These are glaives, Joel. As well as 3 long swords, 2 short swords, and a dagger. They all look like they were made by the same craftsman, because things here, nothing's machine made, nothing's made off of a production line. The craftsmen tend to put their own stamps on them, and the designs that they tend to use tend to be similar. These are all very serviceable weapons, nothing fancy about them, but they're real steel.
Okay, and they're probably better than the mall fantasy sword shop swords that we brought with us.
If you compare the two, you will notice that they are sturdier at where the tang and the guards and pommels meet each other. Almost as if you could strike them against something and you would have no concern about them bending or shattering.
Okay, yeah, I'm gonna set that short sword that I was given aside, and then I'm gonna pick up one of the long swords and kind of test that a little bit. A few swings.
Heavier than you'd think, but solid, serviceable.
Okay.
While you're doing that, Rhiannon, she will return with a box of candles, and flint and steel designed to light them. And she also has a hand keg, sort of similar to what Eric was sporting not too long ago, which has burned into the side of it a picture of an axe and a shield.
I'll take that up to Eric.
Okay.
I mean, here you go, bud. Got you covered.
Mine has 2 arrows on it. See?
Oh,
Yeah.
very nice.
And I'll
This-
say, what,
Heritage Collective is the name.
This has a
of it.
strong smell to it.
some dwarven ale, Eric, or Elric.
Yep.
So I figured you might need some.
Yep.
You just need to make sure you hold it up and say, not an official sponsor of Isekai Realms. That's all.
Fair enough.
Not an official sponsor of Isekai Realms, but call us.
Yeah.
But send a sending to us.
Yeah,
Doesn't always drink dwarven ale.
We
but
can
when-
talk.
Are there cups or is it just a little keg?
Just a little keg.
Okay. I drink some of it.
Have you ever had grain alcohol, Eric?
Yes.
Okay. Well, then you know what to expect. It
Oof.
burned. It burned.
Yeah, we
You
go
could
back
just-
for more.
Then I hand it to Randy.
He's sleeping
Keep
soundly.
it for like wound cleaning or something.
Yeah.
You don't need to drink it.
You know how we
Oh,
repeatedly
it's-
make the joke about dwarven ale? Try
Yeah.
this.
Okay, I'll try a little bit. Oh, that's good. Good stuff. Yep. I'll just let you treasure that though.
Smooth is not how I would describe it.
Yeah.
I think the strongest thing I've ever had to drink was Everclear. So yeah, like I know what you're laying down.
Gotcha. All right.
All
Well, you know that if you take a couple slugs of this, it is definitely going to help you with sleepy time,
It is.
especially on that empty stomach of yours. Rhiannon,
Fantastic.
you've got 6 candles and a device used to light them. What would you like to do with them?
Joel, are you any good at this sort of thing?
I might be able to, but do you have the ability to generate fire now?
Can
I can't remember if
I?
you shared that with us.
So I'm gonna like sort of like frown into middle distance for a second.
Do you
Can
do
I
this
make-
automatically whenever you're communicating internally?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
I'm not actually doing that, but this is just for like the
Got it.
stream to
For
make
my
it clear to
purposes.
the
Thank
viewers.
you. I
Yeah.
appreciate that.
Can I use fire in a controlled way? I don't want to burn the building down trying to light a candle.
The voice will chuckle, and when the chuckle subsides, fire is your birthright, but birth can be painful. And so the first time you use it, it will be dramatic.
I think I want to try it first outside. So tonight, I'm gonna like see with the flint and steel, like try to.
It
with it a
sparks
little
up pretty easily. Like the sparks aren't the hard part. Roll a 20-sided die for me. This is a dexterity check, which means you're rolling low.
8.
Enough to light a candle. And once you've got one candle, you've got as many candles as you like.
Well, and I was a little worried about like bow drills for a second. I'm like, no, they'll have tinder, but like, I would never be able to do a bow drill kind of fire starting. So
They wouldn't give you that. All right. So do you wish to hand off candles to people?
Well, I'll get at least one for upstairs. Like, we don't need to light them all because I'm just gonna fully fulfill this role, I guess. I'm gonna look around for like stuff that like dishes that we can put them in, and like move so that there's not fabric like right around them if they should fall over.
You'll find decorative bowls and the like, and little containers that are meant to hold jewelry. Oh yes, this is ceramic. I can dump the things out and put them inside. Yep.
Yeah, so I'll do one for downstairs and one for upstairs like that, so that if they don't kick it over, it shouldn't light anything on fire.
Joel, were you going to add something?
I was just going to ask, are there the glass columns to put over them or to put around them so that they don't, no, nothing like that?
Nope.
All right.
Nope. Your pyromancy skills tell you that this is a little dangerous, but they assumed that you knew what to do.
More fool they.
Oh.
So you'll create one source of light for the second floor and one source of light for the third floor, and that'll cast delightful shadows on the walls in these rather large rooms. As you're settling down to do that, you'll find that tiredness is beginning to overtake you all. What would you like to do about that? Tuck in? Babies are knocked right out.
Well, now that I'm suitably sauced,
How
wanna
sauced do you
check-
want to get, Eric, on a scale of 1 to sauced?
I took 2 sips of that. I'm pretty sauced.
You're pretty sauced.
I am going to check out that plate armor that you mentioned.
Okay.
So these things are normally fitted to like a particular wearer. So I'm gonna like try and put it on and just see if it fits.
Allie, do you want to stop that madman from playing with he goes over to the thing that it's on and it teeters dramatically, trying to
Allie.
remove it.
Eric.
Allie,
What? Eric.
help me with the straps. Help me with the straps.
Maybe you should wait until the morning when you're not, drunk.
No, this is the best time.
So is this
Go
So is this
to
plate
bed
mail?
up there.
Oh,
half
God.
plate or full
Shit.
plate?
Okay, Rhiannon said we need to go to bed. We should go to bed.
Yeah. Go
Or
to bed.
Should we organize some kind of watch shift, like take turns, at least one person remaining awake to watch?
A fire guard?
Do enough of us have the energy to do a watch right now? Is also another question.
Yeah,
that
I
would
mean,
have.
so I'm willing to be overruled, but I'm thinking that like the false security of thinking that somebody is going to stay up and then they fall immediately asleep is worse than having, Joel was saying he was going to sleep in front of the door.
Yeah, I
mean-
think that should be enough, right? Like,
Yeah. We're
As
not in
long
the
as we
middle of
blow-
nowhere.
So long as we blow out the candles before we go to bed.
yeah.
Okay, so that is what you will settle down to do. Now, if I recall correctly, Allie, bed upstairs.
Mm-hmm.
Eric, floor next to bed upstairs. Joel, floor next to door downstairs. Rhiannon, bed downstairs. Randy, pile with babies where downstairs.
I guess like corner farthest from bed and Joel, just in case the babies make noise or whatever, not to disturb them.
Near one of the windows?
Well, you could, if there's room on the
Mm.
floor, depending on how long the costume pieces are, you could go.
Yeah.
If there's a closet, isn't there?
There
That
is.
could be sort of a little like.
Oh yeah,
niche
no
to
closet.
be in there.
Excellent. That's a little enclave that will provide you with the greatest defense against any invaders. They'll have to go through the whole rest of the party first, Joel. I mean, Randy. All right. So you'll settle down. Eric's out first. Eric, you snore.
A little bit.
snoring happily away, Allie, which
Actually,
is keeping you up.
my main thing is that I talk in my sleep.
Oh, delightful.
I compose
fantastic.
poetry about characters that I happen to be writing stories about while I'm asleep.
All right. Okay.
I'm
Is this
not
an
making this
actual
up. This
fact?
is true. This is an
I was gonna
actual
say,
fact
Shelley.
about me.
Oh,
Verify
nice.
it with Shelley.
Shelley
My-
has apparently has repeated poems that I told her at 2 a.m. several times.
Oh my.
This is a delightful fact about you, Eric.
So,
Awesome.
Allie, really questioning her decision to sleep in a room with you.
Just a bit.
Smells
Just
a
a bit.
little bit like shit.
Yeah. Strongly
Speaks
drink.
additionally shitty poetry.
Okay.
I will-
Sarshan. You need a warshin.
So Allie, you want to go to sleep. You want to go to sleep, and you're tossing and turning a little bit
Where's
because
that barrel?
right? Yeah, there you go. So maybe you'll take a little swig as well.
Yeah, I think so at that point. I will take some to try to help me knock the hell out.
Okay. It burns a little going down, so it'll wake you up for an instant. But fairly shortly thereafter, you'll start to feel drowsy. So now the second, third floor is asleep. Similarly, first floor, Randy, these babies are nice and warm. So, you know, you're comfy, you're cozy, you're tucked in the closet. Dunk, you're out. You also snore, Randy? No?
Lightly, so I am told.
Okay. The babies do not. So you're in luck there. Rhiannon, you're out on the bed, and unless you're an insomniac, out fairly quickly since you have this bed all to yourself and everyone around you on the floor. Joel, anything I need to know about your sleeping habits?
I do snore. Before I put the candle out, I'm gonna pull a clipboard and start making notes and drawing for a little bit before I go to bed.
You are constructing the conspiracy board. Noted.
I am.
Excellent, excellent. All right, so the last two people to conk out will be Joel and Natalie then. Everyone else is asleep by the time they knock out. That said, it'll be morning before you know it, because you were close to it anyway. And every one of you, while you're unconscious, will have some dreams. These will be vivid dreams. And you will remember certain parts of them or more upon awaking. I'm going to go in an order here, talking about those dreams. Joel, we're starting with you.
Oh my.
Your dream is of a great space outside during the day, near a city. It doesn't look like the city that you are in presently, even though you have only seen parts of it. You've traipsed through enough of it that the design of it isn't similar to the one that you are in. So it is some other city, someplace. It has a Western Heartlands feel to it. So it's not a Shao city, it's not a Chultan city, etc., etc. It's on the coast, but really the thing that draws your eye most is a man. He is wearing black and gold. He is dressed a bit like a military officer or a cleric of some kind. He has pale skin. You sort of sweep in on him. You know there are people around him, a large number of people, several of whom are accoutered similarly to him, and they are involved in some great act of cooperative magic. He has pale skin. He has coal black hair, long, a beard, but well kept. But the thing that's most interesting or disturbing about him, depending upon your perspective, is that he's covered in burning orange-colored veins. The veins in his body, rather than being blue like you would get with a normal person, are the color of lava. And they stick out well from underneath his pale skin. He's a handsome man of middle age, fit, and dressed, as I said, as a military man or a cleric of some kind. It's hard to make out the symbols on his armor, but you know that what he is doing is of some great importance, and as I said, involves some great cooperative magic. And as he reaches the end of the crescendo of this spell, a second sun bursts into the sky above this city. The dream ends there for you, but you know that this event will occur in almost exactly 1 year's time. So that's Joel. Second, Rhiannon.
Okay.
Rhiannon, you're sleeping, doing your best to not think about a lot, seeing whether or not you're going to get any unusual communications in your sleep. And you have to wonder, am I going to wake up back home? Like, was this whole thing some crazy dream?
Great. Yes.
Am I gonna wake up in my own bed and it's gonna be a fun story or something, or what's happening here? Your dream is dominated by the appearance of a woman, and you're standing just a few feet away from her. She is a tiefling woman, strong, proud in appearance, with strong, well-developed horns swept back, wild flowing hair. You know at once that she is a warlock and a deadly combatant. She's in her 30s, 40s, not young, not old, and she's looking right at you. As she does, meets your gaze, smiles wryly at you. The voice that you have become used to in your head says, she will come for them. And the dream ends. Next, we have Randy. Randy, remember you made that joke about Gladiator in our last game session, and I said it was going to be prescient. You know the scene in Gladiator where he's walking through the fields and he's in the
Elysian fields?
afterlife? Yes. Yeah. And he's trailing his hands through wheat. Mm-hmm. Well, you're doing something similar. You're in a field, only it's a field of wildflowers. Somewhat similar to the wildflowers that were in that lovely field that you arrived in. This, however, is in the light of day. You can see the sun shining merrily above you. It is warm. You're trailing your hands through the wildflowers as you move through this field. There's something a little bit strange. The flowers are blooming, then decaying, then being reborn and blooming again as you're moving along through them, trailing your hands. So that's interesting. And you're just taking that in, trying to sort it out, when suddenly in front of you, as you look up, there is a halfling. Fairly tall, about 4 feet, which is pretty tall for a halfling. So maybe a stout. He's a man. He's older, maybe in his 50s or 60s for a halfling, somewhat distinguished looking for a halfling. He has a well-kept beard with a bit of gray in it, hair tied up with gray at his temples. He's wearing colorful clothing, maybe of a performer or something similar, a bard perhaps, hard to say. And as you look him in the face and he meets your gaze, he'll break out into a smile. He's wearing some sort of a symbol around his neck, like a holy symbol, identical to the one that you saw on the doorway above the inside front door of this building, a harp on a gray background. And as his eyes meet your eyes, you will notice that his eyes are a field of stars. And the dream ends. Okay. Next, we have Eric. Eric, you know that as that's me. That as this dream takes place, it is night. You know that even though the dream is taking place underground or in a building someplace, you're looking down on a scene in what is probably a dark, dank basement room. There is a boy, no more than 4, 5, or 6 years old, with a distinct resemblance to your features. It's in the nose and in the eyes. He's a little taller than normal than you would expect of a boy that age. His hair, though, and his skin are a little bit darker, more Mediterranean cast. And he has a bloodied lip and tears streaming down his face. But he has a fierce, determined, and defiant look in his eyes. As you take in the room, poorly lit, you will see that he has just been smacked bodily away from a woman on the ground. Standing over that woman, the person or thing that just smacked him bodily away is a well-dressed man, but feral and cruel looking, with a full mane of long blonde hair falling into curls on his shoulders. The woman, also with dark hair and a Mediterranean complexion, is in a pile on the ground, laying curled around a smaller form, perhaps, blood pooling from a wound in her neck. The man has a scratch where his pants are torn, his otherwise finery, from where the child stabbed him with a bit of wood from the ground in the leg. And as you look down on the scene, the child appears poised to pounce at the man, who has a suddenly wolfish expression as he feeds on the woman at his feet. But then the child's eyes go wide, and you realize that the child can see you, your ghostly form looming above him between you and the predator. And as he does, his eyes go wide. With confused and hopeful gaze, he utters a single word. Papa? You're looking around the room frantically to determine what else might be in here. If he charges that man, he will die. But there are a set of stairs, stone ones, in the other corner of the room that lead up. And if while the predator feeds he were to run, he might make them. What do you want to do, Eric?
Run.
Did you say
Run
that, boy?
and fight another day. That's what I say.
Okay. He hears you, and he looks at you and turns to flee. As he scampers across the room, there is the laughter, the cruel laughter of the man who you can now hear feeding upon the woman on the ground, that will ring in his ears for the rest of his life. You are now at his level, as though you were seeing through his eyes. He is pounding his way through tears up the flight of stairs, his gaze shifting to the door, a solid wood and iron bound door, which opens just as he arrives. There's a woman in the doorway and bright light coming from behind her, as that room that she's emerging from was lit and the room that he was in darkness. As he looks up at her, eyes blinking at that sudden light, she reaches down for him. She's much taller than him, but not too tall. She's thin, she's lithe, with a sensuality to her, not frailty, strength, with long dark hair, wearing a diaphanous purple silk robe. As his gaze tracks to her shoulders on his way to her face, the dream ends. And finally, Allie, you're in a fitful, troubled sleep, anxious and impatient because you have been told that all you need to do is dream and you will get your answers. Finally, as sleep comes to you, a dream begins. You find yourself in a vast open space surrounded by darkness, bathed in shadow. You could be outside at night, in a large room like an arena or a dungeon, or in a vast underground chamber, a cave. It's hard to tell. Someone or something is flitting around in the darkness just beyond the edges of your sight, at one with that darkness, perhaps even made of shadow. It moves with a seductive sensuality, at once enticing as you catch glimpses of its curves, and frightening as you realize you don't know what it is, or whether or not it's hungry. What do you do?
You said I had to dream, that I would learn what I need to know. What are you?
We will speak out to it then.
Yes.
It will pause in place, its eyes pits of darkness, indeterminate in shape, other than that sensuality that it has about it in a raw way. And it will reply to you in that sibilant, seductive whisper that you've grown used to hearing in your head, stronger than you've ever heard it before, sending a thrill up your spine even in your dreams. Well met, traveler. I am your desire and the passion of the mark, given awoken by your power, mixing with its power, given life and voice. And I would share with you the secret of your true strength if you will take it.
All right. I'm game.
It will chuckle again in a way that sends a thrill up your spine when you say that slightly defiantly to it. The power you possess is the power of becoming, shifting, shaping, and becoming whomever you desire. It is your birthright. You have spent your life locked away in a place that denied you the depths of that power. But now you are here, in a place and with a conduit to it, to finally and truly master it. I can help you unlock it. I can help you control it, to learn to channel your power and to harness it. Do you wish to learn?
Yes. Yes, I do.
As you wish then. Let us start with this. The marks contain power. Let me show you how to use a portion of that power to become what you desire. Tap into the well of your imagination and your desire, and envision that form you wish to be. Shape it here in your dreams, and tap into your power to work your will upon your body and the world. When you awake, you shall be who you desire. You shall remain in that form with all of its strengths and weaknesses until you do the same again. You cannot, you shall not be denied what your power seeks and your mind desires. What do you want to envision, Ellie?
Honestly, what I envision is probably well, oh man. I think where my mind would go immediately is live elven.
Dark elven?
No. Moon elf.
Color of your hair?
I like the blue. Let's stick with the blue.
Blue black or a more vibrant blue?
Blue black.
Blue
I like
black.
blue black. Yes.
Length of your hair?
Long, mid back, I'd say.
Straight, in sort of the traditional elven style, or
Yeah, I'd say fairly straight, a little bit of a wave. You know, nothing too crazy.
Height.
Let's go with 5'10" to
Oh,
Yeah.
extremely tall for an elf.
Fit into the armor. Yeah.
That's true. And that's
Priorities.
actually no. What's about average height for an elven woman in the realms? I can't remember.
Moon elves are actually fairly short. They're between 4'10" and 5'4".
I'd still go on the tall side. Let's go with 5'8".
Okay, so
Still on the tall side.
excellent. Okay.
But I've always grumbled about how tall I am, so cutting off a few inches sounds just fine to me.
Any other details that you wish to shape in the dream that I should be aware of?
I mean, nothing terribly, I would say, too important. I mean, moon elf, pretty.
How beautiful do you want to be, Allie?
Fairly.
To stop the hearts of men, or enough to draw attention, but not to necessarily cause distraction?
You know what? I would go with distraction because screw it.
It would be pretty funny if
can
Alice shows
change
up
it.
for morning feast the next day. She's like, "Well, Eric's dead." Oh, there goes Randy and Joel too.
Not literally heart stopping, but like, you know, I mean, this is wish fulfillment quite literally.
Absolutely.
It's the chance to remake myself as whatever I desire.
So we talking like charisma 16, 17? Is that what we're talking?
I think
And you
that's,
can al-
yeah.
First
And you can always
edition-
dial it back tomorrow.
First edition has a concept known as comeliness, which is a measure of just physical attractiveness. And I sort of imported it into second edition. It has an effect on people based on their wisdom scores. And basically it can stupefy people if the person's comeliness is high enough. Divine
All right.
beings have particularly high comelinesses.
All right.
Nymph like beauty. Go for it.
I mean, yeah, like I would go for I would go for a form that you know I've wanted. So yes.
Excellent.
I mean, I have to say I'm a little envious of getting to be a pretty elf, but
Amazing
totally-
magical power.
Allie totally
Pretty
deserves
elf.
it, so.
So you will awake, Allie, once you've settled into what this form is in your mind and you take it with a start, as will all of you simultaneously, all emerging from the dreams as I have described them. And that is our first break.
Thanks, everybody.
Fantastic.
We will see you in a few minutes. Don't go away.
Pick up your gear and open your chests. Throw on your armor and head out on a quest. Hey, it's a brand new day. On the South Coast, your allies will help with blades and bows and magic as well. Hey, heroes on their way. Fighting together against overwhelming odds. Fighting together in favor of multiple gods. Idle champions of the forgotten realms. Idle champions, adventure never ends. Idle champions, hit your wall and there. Idle champions, you will say it again. Idle champions.
And we're back. Welcome. Thank you for hanging out over the break. A couple of reminders. We are sponsored by some dice. Folks, do we have a giveaway? I don't think we do. Do we have?
Yes,
We
we do.
giving away
Here,
anything? We are.
I'll do the
Yes.
giveaway.
Remind
Phoenix
us about the
Dice.
giveaway.
Phoenix Dice does dice from recycled materials. And you can enter the giveaway by typing !ticket in the chat for one set of dice anywhere in the world. And you can also go to phoenixdice.com and get 10% off at checkout with code Dungeon Scrawlers, one word.
Excellent. I also want to remind people about my Kickstarter, !justice in the chat will take you to a link that will show you where that is. Yeah, it's a superhero novel that I'm writing about a series of characters that are very well developed and have a lot of stories about them. Most of them are up here. If you would like them to be out there where you can read them, support my Kickstarter. And with that, I think we're ready to go, unless somebody has something else for the good of the order.
Donate to Trevor
Donate
Project
to
if you're
Trevor.
Yeah. Idle Champions. Check
inclined.
it out. Go to
Idle
the thing.
Champions.
Yeah.
All right, take it away, Chris.
All right, thank you kindly. So as indicated, you will all awake with a start, having come from your individual dreams. When you do, it's dark in the rooms that you're in. There's a trickle of sunlight peeking through the boarded up or barred shuttered windows, so you can tell that it is now daytime. And it's a little bit warmer in these rooms than when you went to sleep last night, but it is dark, except for two people. Allie, you'll notice that as you sit up in bed and you look down at Eric, who just groggily sat up, that you can see Eric in a combination of normal, vague light, mostly darkness, and Eric's heat profile. If you've ever watched Predator or looked for a heat gun, you can see that you can detect Eric's heat profile. That's frankly bizarre. And Joel, you'll notice a couple of things. One is that when you sat up, you did so with a more sort of squat gesture than you expected a little while ago. You're a bit of a tall fellow, and so when you pop up to sort of waist height, you're expecting to reach a certain height over the ground. You didn't quite reach that height. And as you glimpse down at yourself, you'll notice a couple of things. One, your clothing is unbearably tight. I don't know what happened, but it's sort of like you got wider, bigger a bit while getting short. It's a little straight, and you can also see the rest of the group in that same heat signature vision. So I'll let you both deal with that, and everybody else will just awake from their dreams at the same moment. Anyone want to say anything out loud to anybody else? Eric.
Man, I've got a beard.
Yes.
And I'll kind of I mean, it's still very dark otherwise. Yeah,
It is. People without infravision can't see anything in here.
Did you have a weird dream?
Are we streaming? What's going on?
No. Dream. Did you have a weird dream?
That is
Eric.
such a weird question to ask me first thing in the morning. Why are you here? Oh, shit. Yeah, I did.
Allie's voice is at once familiar, but also with a more lilting tone to it, sort of almost musical.
Allie, what happened to your voice? I mean, it sounds really good.
I'm not.
Has Jamal been giving you voice lessons?
No. Who? What are you
Jamal
talking
is
about?
the thespian who owns this house that we're in because we're in the Forgotten Realms.
No. Did we get?
I
the
look around
candles
for
up
Allie.
there?
It's dark, right?
It is. It is
I can't
dark.
see.
There are candles, but they're out. You put them out.
Okay,
And there was
I'm
only
gonna-
one light. That's downstairs.
I'm gonna fluoresce the mark then.
All right. Hey, Eric, that's not Allie at all.
Whoa!
That is
Heartening. That's a heartening reaction.
In reaction to that, I'm gonna pop up and move. Wait, you guys are upstairs, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, so in reaction to that, whoa, I'm gonna pop up and scuttle up the stairs.
It's probably
to
pretty
see what's
loud.
happening.
Pretty loud. Whoa.
Okay, so I'll leave the two of you upstairs for a moment to go back downstairs to Joel. So, hey, everyone. Somebody just popped up at the door. You get the sense that it's probably Joel, because that's sort of where Joel is. Only Joel's blundering around into things and sounds a little bit disorganized. You all had these dreams that were a little bit vivid. Maybe Joel's had a bad one.
Are you okay, Jill?
I-
Can you find the candle?
I don't think I need one. I'm not sure what's happening.
So I'll fluoresce my mark.
All right, so Randy and Rhiannon, you will have a shocking experience of seeing Joel the dwarf. Joel looks like Joel, only 4'6" and broader. Same, like just basically a 5
No
o'clock
beard.
shadow, so no beard. Same color hair, tight and long clothing simultaneously. It's frankly bizarre.
And I look up at the two of them and I go, "Oh, this is bullshit."
Honey, we shrunk the Joel. What happened?
So I'm going to immediately look at Randy. Does Randy look any different?
Absolutely identical. The babes are still dead asleep.
Okay. Do I? Well, in as much as I can see, like, I'm still
No
the same, right?
changes.
Okay.
Allie, you'll know. Hey, your ears are pointed. Well, that's kind of neat. And they're a little bit more acute than they were yesterday, because you can overhear the conversation that's occurring on the first floor or second floor.
Yeah, I'll even I'll kind of like perk up a little bit and kind of cock my head slightly, like I'm hearing something. What?
Eric, Allie is painfully attractive.
Yeah, okay.
What is-
So apparently the change dance happened.
Look,
Congratulations.
problem solved, I guess.
Is there a mirror? Is there a silvered glass?
Downstairs.
Here, I'll just summon Vindicator real fast.
No, Eric, don't.
No, it's
Did
fine.
that work? Did
Did
that
it work? Did it work?
So let me go back downstairs for a moment before
Okay.
God.
Okay, so Joel was saying, "Oh, this is bullshit. I don't know what's going on." Joel, when Rhiannon lit the markup to light the room, your eyes shifted entirely into the normal visible spectrum of light. You, Rhiannon, and Randy are looking at a dwarven Joel, a beardless dwarven Joel. You look normal. You can hear there's some excitement coming from upstairs. Anybody want to call out between the two floors?
Everybody okay up there?
Yeah.
We're working on it.
Just fine. Extremely
would've-
fine in one of our cases.
It would appear that whatever has occurred down here in this room, there's something similar that seems to be occurring up there as well.
Anyone turn into a dwarf?
No.
Oh, okay.
No, the
I don't-
opposite.
Eric became a Goliath?
No, it'll be Allie.
Oh.
Joel, your heart is
Okay.
beating fast. Little panicked, actually. Your hands are kind of stubbier than you recall. You feel uncomfortable, and you're like, I'm used to seeing the world from a different height.
I think at that point, I would probably just get up and like head downstairs at this point, because it's like I'm a little
What
like.
were you wearing when you went?
I probably wouldn't have bothered to like change out of my clothes. I probably would have just fallen asleep in what I was wearing. So like jeans, the tank top.
Not fitting terribly well on
Yeah,
you.
those probably
Yeah.
don't fit anymore.
So I'm holding my pants up as I'm heading down.
Put the leather armor on, Allie.
Eric,
You know how long that takes to get into?
Eric,
Also,
can
you need an undershift, dude.
Yeah.
Eric,
Look,
can you
look.
undecided die
Did the
for me?
sword appear?
Oh yes, you were trying to summon Vindicator.
Right.
Could you roll a 20-sided die for me after you've summoned Vindicator? It absolutely did appear in your hands. Yes.
Okay, good. All right, here we go.
So it disappeared out of my possession.
Area. you didn't
I
have it.
rolled a 6.
Okay, couple of things. Yes, Joel, it was nearby. Roll a 20-sided die to see if you even noticed that it disappeared.
That's
Remember,
a 7.
Kind of preoccupied at the moment.
Yeah, there's a lot going on.
Yeah, fair.
When you look down, a minute ago you looked down and the sword was there. When you look back down again, the sword is gone. So you'll kind of note, well, that's unusual. Eric, it will appear soundlessly and without fanfare in your hand as you summon it.
It's
And
just kind of reflective. So I'm like, here, look. Show it to Ellie.
when you
What?
do that, you will also note that you are acutely drawn to Allie's curves as she's having a hard time keeping her clothes
Oh,
on at
Jesus.
this particular
No.
point.
All right, so are you blessed by some sort of love goddess or something? What happened in your dream?
Shadowy entity showed me how to change my form, and then I'll rush downstairs.
Put the clothes on for. Never mind.
And you are left alone with your thoughts, Eric. All right. Moving quietly, but quickly down the stairs comes Allie. But that doesn't look like Allie that went to bed last night. Hey, Allie, that doesn't look like Joel either.
What? What happened to you?
Allie
What
is a
happened?
stunningly attractive moon elf.
Wow, Allie.
So
you were
I'm assuming,
beautiful
Ellie,
before, but
you wanted this, right?
Yes.
Joel, did you want this?
Okay, Allie, not that I'm not happy for you, but I reiterate, this is bullshit.
I didn't have anything.
No,
I didn't have anything to do with
absolutely
that.
okay, good. Thank you.
it's like your brother
I-
played a prank on you or something, Joel.
I had a look. Okay. Deep breaths. More talking to myself than anybody else right now. I had a dream where a voice, the one that I've been hearing, told me that I could alter my shape by expending some of the power that I have.
So, is this a one-time change?
I mean, I can do it again if I use more of it.
Wow.
So is one of your little jewels on the
That is the
Gauntlet?
question.
yeah.
How do you want to find out? Luminous?
I'd luminesced mine already. I don't think I even thought to turn it off.
Fair enough. You will note that, yes, one of them is missing, but it is not a jewel on the gauntlet. It is one of the points of the trident.
Oh. Oh.
What is? That's not what I. What does that mean?
Well, that's something we should probably have a talk about. The trident, the triangles.
Hmm?
That's
Eric, are you coming down from upstairs?
Is it
Is that-
safe?
I'm not.
Okay.
No one's naked. Get down here.
Okay. So the symbol, so
Yeah.
we all recognized helm symbol, and then we
Yes.
figured out that the big circle was Aminator. If you
Yeah.
take those two away, what's left is the three triangles that are left over Are the
Yeah.
are the symbol of Asmodeus.
Oh.
Joel. Dwarf Joel. Don't say those names out loud. Allie, put some clothes on.
I'm wearing clothes. My pants
All
are
right,
up.
you know
Bring
what?
them down.
I'm gonna go kick Eric in the shin.
Ow!
Like, face the wall, and then
Yes.
Allie, if you're okay
Face
with
the
me
wall.
taking your wrist, I'm gonna
Okay.
pull you over to the closet and be like, Randy, here, we need the closet.
Oh, absolutely.
You can take the babies to the bed, and then I'm gonna try to pull enough outfits out that we can go in there a little bit, and then pick some new clothes, and
Fair.
and then I'll stand. Not that I'm tall enough to completely block, but I'll stand between the closet and the room and be like, all right, so we can have adult conversations out here, and Allie can pick some new clothes, and so we don't have to say that name again. But like, that
This is
isn't good.
concerning. So I'll shout from the closet.
Let's just say B Dave. Let's just say B Dave.
Where I was going. Yep.
I was gonna
We
go
all
with-
know who that is, right? B Dave.
Is saying Azzy too similar to the actual name?
People might know who we're talking about, but if I say
Okay.
B Dave, we'll know who we're talking about.
Okay. B Dave.
all
it
right.
is.
So
I'll dig around
you-
for clothes.
first of all, Joel,
Uh-huh.
have you shaved this morning?
I
Because
have
you already
not.
have a 5 a.m. Shadow.
Gonna go with the beardless dwarf jokes, huh?
No, I'm
Yes.
saying it's growing real fast.
Oh, okay.
Okay, during like beard discussion, I'm gonna have a silent discussion that hopefully is more useful. So I'm gonna say, was that you in the dream?
Was that me warning you that she would come?
Who's she?
The woman that I showed you in the dream.
Oh, okay. She's coming, and is she a warlock of what we're speaking about currently?
She is a warlock of great power. One of 13 of them.
Mhm.
Oh,
Share this with the group.
all right.
I don't know. We didn't hear any of this.
He is their leader. And Rhea was hers.
Yep. Okay. Coming for them right now. This is like going to happen imminently.
Eventually, I do not know exactly when.
Okay. So my dream, apparently, the Brimstone Angels, somebody's gonna come for these babies. A very powerful warlock.
Oh,
My
Good.
my source didn't say that she was a warlock of B-Dave, but just a very powerful warlock.
good.
Probably Briseis Kakistos.
I mean, I didn't quite remember the name, but yes, that's what I'm
You're-
thinking. One of 13.
Your
Ray was hers.
source.
Hmm?
Your source? You have a source?
Yes, and we're not going to discuss that.
Okay. It's not B Dave, is it?
No.
It's
Well,
not
here,
Aaron
okay.
either.
So
Look,
Are you?
I've been using my mark as a nightlight. The triangles, they're still as intact as ever, right? I was
That
burning
is
off
correct. They are
tools from
intact
the
as ever.
gauntlet.
Okay. When I say Aaron, we all know who I'm talking about, right?
I don't know anymore.
B Dave's daughter, except it's a little weird to put it that
Oh.
way.
Okay.
Okay. So it's not her, right? You don't think?
No, I mean,
Did the
You
warlock
met
look
Aaron
like Aaron?
before, as presented by Aaron. Oh, this is getting complicated.
Well,
I
will
think we
note.
could say Farida. I don't know that that's any particular.
No.
Were you
Farida wouldn't be
referring
born
to
yet.
someone
That's
classy?
not who I mean.
We
how
saying
old-
someone
Oh,
classy?
okay.
How-
All right.
how old is
Yes,
the woman
that's
in
who
your
I
dream?
mean.
I
Yeah,
just
I got you.
penetrated our
That's right.
euphemisms. All right.
I will.
That really, really convincing lady.
Yeah,
So
and
as
we
far
don't
as-
want to say that name either.
No.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know that I want to like go and say it to my source either. And my source has no like method of conveying that otherwise. So
Can your source hear us? Probably,
woman-
right?
yes.
We're gonna have to
Did the
assume
woman in
that.
your dream look like Aaron?
Did she?
No.
As far as clothing goes, am I able to find some? Am I able to find some pants, or is this going to be
There
like
are a
dresses?
lot of things in here that can conceivably fit you. There are probably easily 150 outfits packed into this closet. So it depends on whether or not you're trying to accentuate rather, or downplay the sexy. You tell me.
At this moment, I am probably trying to, not necessarily. I'm probably not even really considering that so much as I'm just going for, okay, these are pants that fit. This is a top that fits.
You know,
Set of legging-like pants, cannons, they're called.
Okay.
That fits nicely, snugly. And a tunic that fits a little long, but looks good. And
That'll work.
You're dealing with black and red in terms of colors. The pants black, the tunic red.
Okay, I can live with that.
Did Allie seem shorter to any of you?
I can't tell.
Can confirm. I'll say
That's true. Everyone seems tall to Joel now.
I
I
will
would also
go-
like to find some clothes that fit while we're having this conversation.
I'm gonna
Once-
go
once-
back upstairs and get that leather armor
once
that I
I'm
saw
changed,
Allie trying to try on.
once I'm actually changed, I'll come out probably as I'm belting the tunic, and just kind of like, all right, I think we're good.
You're going to need shoes.
I am going to need shoes. I mean, are there suitable footwear around here, like
There
boots
are
or
all
something?
kinds of boots and shoes around these.
Yeah.
Around boots. You could look for
Oh.
one that fits.
Yeah, I'll start rooting around for boots that fit.
Okay.
Does Allie have
Anyone-
unexpectedly dainty feet?
Yes.
And now it's
Anyone-
hard to move around without tripping and falling.
Surprisingly dexterous.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Just,
No, apparently I'm
picturing
doing
it.
well.
okay.
Anyone attracted to women is attracted to Allie.
Oh, jeez.
That's just the way it is.
I mean,
the
yeah,
tragedy of
but now
Allie
you're
being
talking
gay as
about
hell.
But what happened after Allie's transformation? That's what we're asking. All right. Anyway.
All right.
Allie just got some bling bling, so
Yep.
Oh, thank
could be
you.
some very nice shoes.
Yes, actually, there is a fantastic set of polished black leather soft boots that go all the way up to the calf.
Okay, I'm taking those. Let's just. You'll hear me go ooh, and then I take them.
Very good. And Joel, you're looking around for smaller things.
Yeah, more. Yes. Something
Broad-chested.
that will fit me. Yeah. Barrel chested, so to speak.
Gotcha.
So yeah.
There
So
is one thing in here that will fit you fairly well.
Oh no.
Eric was playing around with it last night.
Oh. The armor is
Uh-huh.
dwarf sized.
It is actually.
Ah,
That's why it wouldn't fit.
it's a really good thing you didn't work too hard at getting into it. Well, in that case, I guess I'll get dressed.
All right, so you'll scamper upstairs and start trying to figure out how to put plate mail on. Have you ever put plate mail on before? A lot of buckles.
I have
Definitely
not.
something you need help with.
Probably the first time at least. I mean, probably not like an IBA.
All right.
Have
So
something underneath that it all hooks onto too, straps onto.
So my friend Dylan is part of of the SEA. So I know a little bit about putting on armor because I see pictures of him wearing armor. So maybe I can help Joel.
Do you
Now-
wish to relocate your conversation upstairs so that you can have it as you're trying to strap Joel into armor? So you're
Yeah.
not scattered about 2 floors of this place.
Yeah, I follow Joel.
All right. So you're now once again all back together. Some
I
of you
don't-
have talked about the contents of your evening. Some of you have not.
Yeah.
I don't mean to alarm you, Joel, but you're definitely a linked 1 at this point.
Okay, so I will stand out less as a dwarf.
I
the
will.
very
I
near
will
future.
say this: whoever I heard, whoever was talking to me, definitely not our old friend B Dave
Well, good.
in my dream.
Are
Yeah,
you sure
actually-
you know?
I mean,
he-
look, it was everything was dark and shadowy. She seemed to indicate she was some aspect of myself.
Oh, it was a she. Okay.
All
Yeah.
right.
Oh, yeah.
What does she look like?
I didn't get a good look.
Hot and shadowy. Okay. What
Hot and
else?
shadowy.
What details do you remember? What did her voice sound like?
Like I'll actually probably actively blush a little bit at that point.
Okay.
Very nice.
Uh-huh.
Look,
So it could
I don't
be.
know. I don't know how to describe it.
It could be anybody from the Lady of Lust to the Lady of Lust. So
Or it is just an aspect of myself, and these marks have somehow awakened pieces of ourselves that were dormant. I don't know.
isn't that what I just said? Anyway,
Are you suggesting that? Are you suggesting that what the Lady of Loss is a dormant aspect of my personality?
look, you contain multitudes. That's all I'm saying.
I don't know how I feel about that, but okay.
Well,
Apparently,
I'm gonna help Joel with the straps on his armor. You two talk to Al.
How are we
Okay.
going to explain any of this to the people downstairs?
Magic. Wizard did it.
Illusions? Maybe we were traveling under some illusions?
Yeah, and they wore off.
I guess.
Exactly.
Yeah.
We were disguising the dwarf because he shaved and he was really embarrassed about it, and we were disguising the elf
You're-
because
you're
she's really
making-
hot and it distracts people. There we go. Easy.
You're putting too much detail in.
Yeah,
That's
We
too
were
much
traveling
detail?
incognito.
We were
Yeah.
traveling incognito. That's all we need to say.
Okay, fair
exactly.
enough.
I think Randy was about to say something.
Oh, I was just gonna say, apparently the inner aspect of me is an old halfling who has a harp pinned. Not an old halfling, but like a silver-haired halfling. Male?
Like a Harper halfling? What do it?
I don't.
Well,
I mean, I've seen the Harper symbol. Was it the Harper symbol, or was it just a thing with the harp?
It looks a lot like the Harper symbol, but it is really definitely an exact duplicate of what's above that door on the way in. If you recall, Allie had a
Okay.
theory about that last time.
Okay, yeah, it was a
Yeah.
duplicate of the harp symbol above the door when we came in.
Oh,
And,
so
uh,
it was something to do with Finder?
Maybe
Finder-
he didn't
Finder Wyvern
speak to
Spark.
me. Didn't do it.
Yeah.
What
I
else?
just-
What else happened in the dream?
That's it. I was walking through a field of flowers.
Oh,
and-
like a gladiator thing.
kind of like a gladiator thing.
Yeah, all
and
right.
I did a little bit of skipping, and I was looking for a good hill to roll down and have some giggles. But they and as I was walking, the flowers would bloom and then die and then rebloom.
Okay, that's definitely a finder thing.
What is a finder thing?
I look around. Is there any sign of anybody spying on us?
No, unless they're on the roof watching through. You're alone in here.
Okay, so I don't remember the exact details, but Finder was a bard, a traveling minstrel who was very powerful as a bard, and he kind of inherited a divine portfolio from Moander, the god of rot and decay.
Oh,
And his aspect of it is rebirth, revival. So things pass away, things return.
Was he a halfling?
No, but he had a halfling servant or friend or
Hmm.
romantic interest. It's unclear when you're reading books by Jeff Grubb. They're not necessarily all that clear about all that.
Ah,
Olive
Yeah.
Rostkettle was her name.
so I was Well, I was hoping it was I was hoping I was going to wake up as a halfling next time I go to sleep. But I guess
That's
if
not a
it's just
dig
a-
against Jeff. He just likes to keep things a little vague and open to interpretation.
So it sounds like it was less an aspect of me and more just someone saying hi from a friend of this.
Unless that god is an aspect of you.
Mm.
Well, so mine
Well,
wasn't.
Olive should be active right now, right?
Yes.
She's alive at this point,
Probably.
I think.
What were you saying,
What was
Rhiannon?
that, Rian? Yeah.
Go ahead, Rita.
Mine wasn't me. It was a warning of somebody who's going to be working against us. So
But who was warning you?
some part of me, but
Are you sure it wasn't you?
yes.
Okay. I believe you.
So an aspect of you was warning
No,
you.
I
about this
think
other
you're
thing, though.
I think you're probably right. My
There's
I
teacher
had-
my
There's
teacher
two-
didn't see an
Go ahead.
aspect of me at all. I encountered a young boy who was either Kalen or Gedrin or someone related with a similar backstory, whose mother was being attacked by a vampire and then fled. So
So these things that were created out of you are not an aspect of you.
maybe
Did
if anyone was the divine entity, I was the divine entity. That's a little on the nose, isn't it?
So,
Okay.
but bottom line, we know there's a seeker involved, and that there's somebody coming for the babies. I mean, the babies thing sounds like the most urgent and like important takeaway from all of that is.
Yeah.
Okay, so this seems like a good time to talk about what some of the stuff that came out of the later Brimstone Angels novels. Spoilers for anybody who hasn't finished them. So Briseis Kakistos, it's okay to say her name, right? No one's gonna
I think so.
object to that.
I mean,
Okay.
if you can say it, you should be proud of the fact that you can say it and say it.
Yeah. So at some point in their history, she has a falling out with B-Dave, and she starts trying to orchestrate his downfall.
So weird.
And
Okay.
the
I mean, yeah.
and there was she tried to enact a ritual that would bring down B-Dave. And that involves spilling the blood of one of the descendants of each of the original Toral 13, which would mean that the girls, the babies, are MacGuffins for her evil plot.
This is exactly the kind of plot that Chris would come up with. I just want you all to know that. Something
Look, we
really
can't-
lore deep and dense.
And the other thing that they might be used for that she also wanted to use her descendants for is to reincarnate her dead sister into one of her own descendants. So she may have a use for both of them. So they're essential MacGuffins for both of her evil plots.
Which means that we
So.
can't leave them behind.
Okay. Well, okay. So here's my concern. My working theory had been that she was the one who brought us in. To be okay. So. Wow. My theory was that she was opposing B-Dave, but had not figured out yet, but not openly yet, and she brought us in as agents who had no connection to her because she couldn't go to her fellow hell cultists because they would either not help her or possibly even turn her in. And as long as she's using us as pawns, she's got deniability, and we also can't betray her because we had no idea what was going on. So, but it sounds like Rhiannon's dream warned you about her. I'm guessing because she'd be in her early 40s now and she'd be active.
Yeah.
So but
she's
so it
coming
sounds
for
like-
us.
or
Well,
So
she's
down to
coming for the
babies.
for the babies.
Right.
Right.
Where would the babies be safe?
That's a tough question.
Does she mean those babies harm?
Yes. Well,
Presumably,
yes.
yes.
She's
Okay.
going to if I'm right, she's going to sacrifice one of them, and the other one is going to end up possessed.
All right, it's
By
our
her-
responsibility to protect the
Well-
babies. I think we're all pretty clear on that.
I mean,
I guess so.
I don't.
Is there a benevolent
Look,
power? Wait, is there a
One of-
benevolent
One of
power?
us disintegrated their mother.
Wait, what?
Is there
Look,
a
I'm not
What did you
blaming
do while I
anybody.
was sick?
I'm not blaming anybody. I'm just saying that we have a responsibility. That's all.
Okay, so but the logic of these sort of things is usually that we keep the MacGuffin because we can protect it. But I at least want to make an argument for we put the MacGuffin somewhere out of the way and then go be splashy elsewhere. Because the protection of nobody knowing where they are is greater than the protection from us, like, directly.
I mean, in theory,
Just
we could
saying.
put Chekhov's babies on the mantle, and they won't be used until the final act. I mean, we should be safe in that case, right? But
Here, oh,
Randy,
sorry. Go on,
wow.
Randy. Go on.
well, yeah. What I was gonna say is, is there? you Lori people know of a benevolent power who might serve double purpose of wanting to keep the baby safe from and also yeah, that one, and have maybe possibly the power to send us home. I don't know.
Benevolent?
Yeah.
No. Powerful? Yes.
Nobody looks out for tieflings. That's one of the things that makes her go bad originally.
So I want to say a couple things, and I have a couple of ideas. I
Okay.
have some friends who are here in the realms, assuming that we are in that particular infinite version of the realms.
How
They're
can
in
you have
Waterdeep.
friends here?
I do. They might not be in this version of the realms, though.
Pause
saw all the
for a
people-
moment. Pause for a moment, Eric. Allie, roll a 20-sided die.
Okay. I'll roll the Shay one. Let's see what happens. That's a 19.
All right. All you remember is that Eric's been talking a lot about how this is all his fault. Go on, Eric.
Okay.
Okay, so this is going to get really meta here. Now, a couple months ago, oh gods, has it been months? A couple months ago, I was talking to a friend of mine. His name is Chris O. I'm not gonna name him any further than that in case he can hear us divinely, about running a game for us, and that is how we got here.
You think that's how we got here?
Yes, I do think that's how we got here. Secondly, Chris is here in the realms, or at least he is in a version of the realms that is very similar to this. So odds are good that he is here in this particular realms. And if that's the case, he can send us back.
Can he protect the babies?
Can he protect the babies? Yes. Will he protect the babies? That's another question, but we can work on that when we find him.
Oh, so
Okay.
look. Okay, I guess
Look, he's
kind
lawful evil AF. That's what I'm saying. Okay.
Oh, so no. So
No, if there's some benefit to him, he will do it. That's what I'm saying. We got to figure. All right, we can work on this. But what
Are
I'm
we talking
saying
about
is,
Chris O or Chris the Great?
they're the same person. Okay, and there's a third person who is the character who is in Waterdeep. That's where we need to get to. I'm
Okay.
pretty
character
sure
who's
that's
in
where they are.
Waterdeep.
Okay.
You really got to
that's-
stop referring to people in this place as characters, Eric.
Yeah. Road
Yes.
trip to Waterdeep. Whoop, whoop, whoop. Load up on
Chris,
snacks. Here we
But
go.
luckily, I was going to suggest getting the hell out of Westgate and maybe going to Waterdeep anyway. Because really, I feel like wherever we go, a city full of vampires is not the best place for these kids.
I agree. Chris doesn't owe me a favor or anything, but if we do him a favor, I suspect he will agree to protect these children if he can get something out of it. That's my estimation.
I don't like hinging on that.
We can make agreements with him. That's what I'm saying. He is a very lawful person.
And how do you think the finder and these tattoos and all of that, is that all work into that? Or?
That might help us along the way.
Oh, okay, so I should probably relay what my dream was at this point, because it may be relevant. I
Great.
dreamed.
Okay, let's do it.
Okay, so I dreamed about a vast working of magic done by somebody who is possibly a cleric or possibly a military officer of some kind, wearing black and gold. A large group of people casting over a coastal city that was not Westgate. A great work of magic. He had orange veins all over him. And I somehow knew that this was going to happen in a year's time. So we may have the fact that somebody showed me that may mean that we have an extended
Don't
time
want
to be here.
a year from now.
And, okay, so
Well,
my-
there's also going to be a gold rush in Dead Snouts in a year. So if we
my
if
guess.
if worst comes to worst, that's a good place to get rich.
Two things.
But
Thing one. Not to interrupt you, but I have to. Thing one, Eric, if you could roll a 20-sided die for me.
Yeah.
Rhiannon, when you, thing two, declare that you don't want to be here for a year, the voice inside your head will say, how do you know how time passes here versus how time passes in where you're from? Perhaps a year is a day.
Oh, well, okay. That would be all right. I mean, I still wouldn't enjoy being here for a year, but
You would not enjoy my tutelage? To unlock your birthright of fire for a year's time? That seems awfully unappreciative of what I'm offering.
I'm very appreciative. I'm just got some caution about the forces arrayed against us. And running from the forces of evil often means injury and hardship and emotional upset.
Why run when you can fight?
Oh.
So you'll see.
Really testing that responsibility, isn't he?
And Eric, what did you roll?
I rolled a 1, buddy.
Oh, convenient. You will recall with your 1 that Helm made you make a particular pledge. Do you remember that pledge?
Remind everybody, please.
He said that because you had chosen to take up the sword, you had changed something, and therefore you were also going to be charged with a specific responsibility of tutelage and instruction for someone who was in turn going to take up that blade. Do you recall that?
Great. Oh, great. Yeah, vaguely I recall. Yeah, I remember that now. All right, so we need to find somebody else.
Would that somebody be here?
I'm not sure. Was that the person I dreamed of? Probably.
Was there anything distinguishing about them?
So I'm gonna
in a dank basement in the night, suffering,
being
if
attacked by a vampire, right?
Why do we need to find someone else? I'm sorry. What is the purpose of finding someone?
Helm may have tasked me with teaching someone how to be a champion of Helm and take up the sword after I am gone.
And does that move us closer to keeping the baby safe or getting home?
Well, considering how effective the sword is at killing vampires, yeah.
Would this person that you're supposed to train possibly be someone to take the babies or keep them safe?
Well, if it's Gedrin or Kalen or someone like that, I doubt it.
Oh.
Here, not good father figures.
Find them? Where do we think we'd find them?
Underground, shitty basement, vampire, probably here in the city. I think back to the dream. Did the clothes seem like Westgate fashion? I've seen some people here in the city.
There were 2 outfits notably, right? One was that the cruel blonde-haired person was wearing nice outfit, silks, etc., dressed well, looks like a wealthy merchant or an individual that you've seen similar to wandering about town. And then the woman whose face you didn't see was wearing diaphanous purple silk robes. That's something.
I'm gonna wait until Allie gets back for this. So, yes, you need to.
Rhiannon had an expression on her face while you were holding forth.
Yeah, and this is something I remember from Helm talking to Eric, and I don't know that Eric actually told us.
Perhaps
because
not
much.
Didn't
you can remind
Helm
us.
say something about working together with other powers, thus the combo mark?
I seem to think so. Did that? Yes, right? Yes.
Sounds reasonable.
You rolled a 1, man.
That's an interpretation. That's an interpretation.
Because I think I can logic it out just by, like, we're talking about the mark is made up of a combination of different aspects.
Yeah.
And it seems like we have different sort of forces pushing on us, and so it seems like, I don't know, it may come where we have to, like, decide one or the other, but it may be that we have to, like, long-term look at getting home, but then to get there, we have to, grab Eric's kid before we leave Westgate and then get to Waterdeep,
Don't phrase
So-
it like that. Anyway, yeah, no, you're totally right. You're totally right.
We should also probably
So-
get used to referring to each other as the names we're going by here, admittedly.
And my name
so-
is Elric in this world.
Elric, what are the chances that the woman and child you saw were the wife and child of the Thalavar who was killed defending Rhea?
Quite high.
Okay.
You
Did you
recall
simply put a-
they came up last night in a conversation with mistress of this house.
Mm-hmm.
Jamal probably knows some stuff about the Thalabars
Yeah.
that might be useful. I will talk to her, and we will
Alright.
maybe get some leads. Allie, I was waiting until you returned.
I could hear.
from admiring yourself in the mirror.
Look, can you?
No,
Okay,
it's totally
no.
understandable. I didn't say that in a judgmental way. So one of the people in my dream had a diaphanous purple robe, which seems like a purple lady thing. The purple lady isn't supposed to be around yet, but there might be
No.
something similar.
Well, but it might be named after her.
Right.
Would that be
Guess
So,
be Illyra? She's
first
here now,
order-
isn't she?
no.
She is.
Isn't she a night mask right now?
She is
Uh-huh.
technically like
Okay,
she
one
never
more reason-
actually quit, but she left, and it could be complicated. All right.
Yeah, what are the chances she wasn't the woman on the rooftop last night?
Okay. Very low. First order business, bath.
Oh.
Second order business, morning feast.
Breakfast.
Third order business, fest hall.
So as you say that, there's a knock upon the door, a tentative knock upon the door downstairs. You're all huddled up here.
I'll go
Oh.
answer. It'll be Mercy.
Okay,
Yeah,
so
maybe best if those of us who have altered not answer the door right now.
Now that Rhiannon has stepped away. Okay. Best case scenario, the voice in her head is Mistra. Right?
Okay.
Could be.
Best case scenario.
Best case scenario.
What's
Well-
worst case?
Any other theories?
I don't know. I don't even know what the voice in my head is right now.
Oh, I'm sure it's Illustrae or something.
Sure.
Come on, you know
Our-
Allie.
It sounds like it's offering to teach her wait, I think she's told us actually. It's offering to teach her magic.
Well, it is Rhiannon. That's how I would appeal to her if I were running this game.
Right, but I mean in terms of like it hasn't asked for a pact, but it's
Not
offering to
yet.
teach her magic. So that
She's
that
very
does-
responsible. We gotta trust Rhiannon. I advocate for trusting Rhiannon.
There's a moment where I'm like, oh crap, did I make a pact?
I think Eric may have.
Yeah, you probably did. I definitely did.
and Rhiannon will open the door. It is in fact Mercy. She will say, "Good morning, Rhiannon. Mistress Jamal has put a breakfast for you all. It is past midday, but we were told to let you sleep. But I heard you were up and about, and so I'm supposed to bring you downstairs to the garden room to speak with Mistress Jamal and to eat. Are you ready?"
Momentarily. I just want to perhaps send you ahead to warn Mistress Jamal that for ease of travel, yesterday several of us were wearing illusions to make us stand out less. And so don't be surprised.
Magic, she'll say.
Yes. Don't be surprised if we look differently now and much more sort of noticeable, unfortunately. That's what happened.
Tell
She's
her that
looking
all
at-
the shit was an illusion.
She's looking at you admiringly,
Didn't smell
and she
like
will
it.
say, "So you are a sorceress. Did you cast these magics?"
I am only a beginning one. I'm still learning. But I could maybe try something later. I need to be outside for safety. But after breakfast.
Mintassin once told me several years ago that he sensed inside of me the potential to become a wizard. I would love to learn.
Did you tell her about the shit being an illusion?
It didn't smell like an illusion.
I will.
It was a very capable illusion.
I will kick Eric in the shin.
Ow!
I'll go gather them.
Okay.
and we'll be down momentarily.
We will wait
Yeah.
you downstairs in the garden room. You come down the stairs past the library, and then it is out towards the rear of the house.
Got it.
Okay. Door closes.
And then I'm gonna go up and be like, all right, we got to get down to breakfast.
You think they're going to be okay with us wearing their clothes? I think we should probably.
Elric, you said
Joel.
last night that you made it sound like you might know who Mistress Jamal is. Do you know anything about her, or was that no?
I took a lucky gamble. She is she's a well-known thespian here in Westgate, a friend of Mintassin, who is a famous wizard, planeswalker out somewhere in the multiverse right now. She's a good person, I think. I hope.
Okay.
Well,
And as for changing, I don't know if there's nothing else.
No,
here
wear
up here
the
that fits
armor.
me,
You
so I
look
guess
good.
Yeah,
clank downstairs.
Look, I'll wear this for now, and then I will ask about that leather armor. I feel like I'll just say like, look, our other clothes were filthy. I needed something to wear that wasn't filthy.
I'll just casually stroll outside and water the rose garden.
Should I put something on? My clothes were filthy.
His word.
Maybe.
I
There
will look for some
is-
clothes.
If you spend enough time in here, there is something that will fit everyone.
All right.
All right,
Yeah, I'll
look,
put on some
look,
clothes.
they're expecting us, so I sort of suspected this
Yeah,
would happen.
that's-
So I'm gonna start like grabbing people's wrists.
Yeah. Okay. That's
Rhiannon, I need to put on clothes. No, Rhiannon, no.
Randy was out ahead of the rest of you because I think he said something about making water in the rose garden. Is that an accurate
Yeah.
statement, Randy?
Yeah.
Yeah. I will head down.
I've been doing the little dance while the more we've been talking. So
Kiki dance.
Where are the
yeah.
babies?
And the babies. Yeah, I'll change the baby swaddling. And
Do you want to take them with you? Do you wish to leave them here? What would you like to do?
I would imagine that I would have been taking the opportunity to change their swaddling and stuff while we were just sitting there
Yep.
talking and chatting.
That's
Sure.
entirely fair. You have done exactly that.
I'll probably I'll ask Rhiannon if you can take one, because
All right.
I'll need one every free. So I will.
It might be my turn. Would you like me to carry one of the babies?
Yes.
Oh, if you don't mind.
Okay.
Maybe change your clothes first.
yes.
It'll be good for her immune system.
It'll mask her smell if they're using something that
I don't think that's how that works.
Why does
Let's
one
get
of these,
downstairs.
Why does one of these tiefling twins have a higher constitution than the other? Well,
Well, I mean, babies get their microbiome from
yeah,
their
it's
mother.
absolutely true. All right.
Right. Well,
Fair
okay. Downstairs, I guess.
So you're changing up.
Yeah, go
And
ahead and shit on me. I've had worse.
And Randy's out ahead. Randy, you'll go downstairs, down the hall to the garden room. That's how you get to the garden, after all, which has a table for 6. Jamal, dressed fully and not just in a dressing gown. She's dressed a bit like a gypsy woman with colorful skirts, a blouse, and jewelry. And this time her headscarf hat is a jade green, a bright jade green. Will greet you and wish you a happy midsummer.
Oh,
Please.
happy midsummer.
Have something to eat and drink.
Oh, thank you. I just need to step outside for a minute, get a little fresh air. It was a little stuffy in that room with everyone.
As you wish.
and Elric's, encounter with the poo and all. So
Understandable.
Illusion.
I'm going to have Mercy draw you up a bath today, but I figured we
Oh.
would talk first and that you could all bathe after that.
she's an artist. Okay.
The door, she'll chuckle. The door leads out into the garden. You'll notice that it's a nice day, so the windows are unlatched and open, and the garlic cloves in this room tucked away. The room has this overrun garden in the distance, like outside the doors of this room. It's not well-tended rose garden with a low stone wall overgrown with roses with lots of thorns to them. They're giving off an apple-like fragrance from pink mostly, but red and white overgrown rose bushes. There are bees gently moving from one to another all over the garden as you step out into it. You saw quite a feast on the table before you went outside. It set your mouth to watering.
Oh yeah,
You are
stomach's
looking-
grumbling.
You're looking for a spot to make water.
Okay. Yes. And as someone mentioned in the chat, just signs of buried bodies as well, just out of curiosity. But yeah, just make the sign of making water. I would not be surprised if the gentlemen join me, but
We shall see.
yeah.
The rest of you, a bit behind Reddy, will come downstairs and encounter a similar scene. The spread on the table consists of wine, ruby red, mead, golden colored, what looks like some sort of an herbal tea, fruit, apples, oranges, grapes, and raisins in a bowl. Some sort of, I guess you could best describe it as fruit cake, but it seems heavy on the cherries. Light puff roll pastries, cheese, which the yellowish color of it tells you it's akin to a cheddar, and what looks like a spreadable goat cheese, and dried fish and fresh fish spread. It, again, sets your collective mouths to watering. Jamal greets you and wishes you a happy midsummer.
I am probably fretting nervously at this point.
She will look
Thank you,
mildly
gracious lady.
confused at Allie and Joel. I see. Well,
Did Mercy
welcome to
mention?
my home. Yes.
Okay.
She said that you're responsible for cloaking their forms in
Oh,
illusion magic.
It wasn't me. I'm just a beginner.
Well, one of you is a wizard of some note. I would have noticed a gorgeous moon elf and a noble dwarf entering my home last night.
Well,
Thank you for your hospitality, my lady.
Yes, thank
Rhiannon
you.
is very modest.
I
Do not press her. She gets flustered very easily.
I hope it's all right. Some of us needed a change of clothes, and there was lots up there.
I have enough clothing to clothe an army or a very large troop of actors. So you're welcome to take, as part of the payment for the service that you will be rendering for me in the next day or so, one outfit as suits your fancy. Is that fair?
Yeah, thank you. Thank you.
She will say some words in a lilting language you do not understand.
Oops.
You'll forgive me. I grew up around a lot of humans.
She'll look slightly surprised at that. You are a little on the tall side for all of the moon elves that I've met, but, well, very well. I wished you a happy and healthy morning.
Thank you.
Good
Please,
nutrition, I'm given
eat.
to understand.
Just
Drink.
good nutrition and just happenstance. But yes, I unfortunately my parents died when I was very young, and I grew up in a
Very
human
sorry to hear
town.
that.
Yes, thank you.
She'll say, I'm very sorry to hear that, and then say, which one?
Well, I'm gonna go and the cheese. I'm gonna ask. So, is this cow's cheese, or goat's cheese, or?
It is sheep's cheese in the halfling style.
In order to avoid any awkward questions, I'm just going to go and start stuffing my mouth with fruitcake and cheese.
How long is Joel's beard at this point?
So let's go around the group. Joel's beard is still, it's now like a 630 shadow, but it is
Okay.
not grown out, it's not grown out into a beard.
Okay.
Joel, the fruitcake is a cherry fruitcake, and it is delightful. You're hungry as hell, so pretty much anything would probably taste pretty good right now. But it's one of those experiences that makes you say to yourself, I'm in a real place, because now I've got tastes in my mouth and I'm feeling satiated. So either this is some sort of a magnificent delusion computer program, or I am in a real place. So that's what Joel's up to. Do you wish to pull up a chair somewhat awkwardly? They're a little high. Or stand at the edge of the table.
Oh, me. I'll absolutely stand at the table that's up to chest height. And,
Yes. Okay. Feed yourself.
Easier to get it in your mouth.
good
All right,
healthy
so
dwarven appetite.
Allie, you are doing what? She asked you the question. She's patient.
Yeah.
Dang it, I was hoping to distract her.
Oh, terribly sorry. And if Rhiannon, if you're trying to distract her, what did you want to do to try to distract her?
So I was basically just like, I asked information about the cheese, and I asked
Got it.
about
Draw
the,
her off of that conversational topic. Okay,
Yeah.
so Rhiannon's taken that conversational bullet for you, Allie. It looks like you'll just have to answer that question later.
Yeah.
So she'll happily take you on a tour of the foods on the tables if that's what you want her to. Randy, what are you doing? Finished making water? No immediate gravestones or other signs of buried bodies.
No. Okay. Yeah, I'll just come back in, eager for some food. Look for like a washing bin or something to rinse my hands off.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Pull up a chair.
Pull up a chair.
Or anything at the table sound particularly delightful to you?
I've already forgotten what was at the well, I'm sorry, but I don't want to make you repeat it all.
All right.
Whatever's probably something. If it were something sweet and probably not good for me, and I might be tempted by that, like, or something that looks not meat. I'm a vegetarian,
Yeah.
so but something that looks like a unusual realms treat that maybe I haven't had before. I would want to explore that.
Your best bets are the cherry bread or the rolls.
Oh, cherry bread. Let's go for some cherry bread.
All right, so you and Joel will be dividing that up. Eric,
Okay.
how about yourself?
Our first adventure was in Lork, my lady. A very
Lork, I'm
small
not sure I've
and
heard of that.
dismal, a very small and dismal town to the northwest of Westgate, outside the Dragon Coast, in the frontier, as it were.
The far north?
Not the far north exactly, but on the trade road to the Sword Coast.
Ah, I see. So you've traveled fairly far.
Somewhat. Most of us are from the Dales or somewhere nearby. There are a number of elves that live in the Dales, obviously. So
I had heard that. But then again, I also heard that you were planeswalkers. And in that moment, you will know that after you went to sleep, May and she had a conversation.
I see.
Well, so much for blending in.
Well,
you ever thought we were gonna?
Not really, but so tell us about this production you need us to help put on.
I'm gonna start like getting food. I think at that point, I'm just gonna I'm gonna turn to the food.
She'll laugh and she'll say, I do not mean to pry over much. You can tell me whatever it is you choose to tell me. But if I'm to be helpful to you, the more you tell me that you think I need to know, the more that I can assist you with. And I'm quite curious about the lot of you. I personally believe that you were put here in my path for a reason. And so I'm happy with my faith in Finder and his mischief to do what I can to assist you in return for a little help from you yourselves. Also, Elric,
yes, my lady.
what's a god's damn shadowbane?
Let me try some of this cheese and then I'll
I
explain.
will. I actually have a question. As an elf now,
Mhm.
has my palate changed at all?
Yes, your palate has changed. You'll find that the things that you're eating seem to be to you sweeter, sourer, more savory than you would imagine them to be if you were consuming them as you.
Okay.
Your eyesight is more acute. Your hearing is more acute. Your sense of touch feels lighter. You feel more nimble on your feet. There are a number of advantages.
I'm gonna be like taking a bite out of something as I'm just like, this is the best.
So that's the answer to your question. You said something about her performance. She rode right over you on that one, Joel. She was asking about what God's damn Shadowbane was. Randy or Rhiannon, did you want to say anything before Eric gave us an explanation?
Well, I was going to whisper to
Majesty.
Rhiannon. Oh, yeah, I was just going to whisper to Rhiannon. Hey, should I mention that Finder came in my dream last night?
That's not neat. to know.
Okay.
That's not
I
need
was
to know.
gonna say something real dirty, but I won't.
Phrasing.
We're still doing phrasing. Okay. So, my lady, I see you have an advantage in this particular sparring match, and I
Why? I don't feel as though I do.
shall yield to your advantage. We are from a distant realm, it is true. Exactly where we come from is complicated and difficult and not germane. We are here to a purpose, I believe. I agree with you that you have met us for a reason. I'm not sure I understand that reason entirely, but it is our responsibility to protect these two children's. I have one in my arms right now. And see that they are well cared for, despite the dark threats that are coming after them.
Is this desire on your part similar to the desire that got your not relative killed a few days ago? Did these
Possibly.
women or did these children come from perhaps the same woman that was not too long ago here in the streets of Westgate?
It is possible, my lady. Fate works in mysterious ways.
We're all creatures of the gods. All creatures of the gods.
I am a servant of Helm, my lady, the god of guardians, who has tasked me with the responsibility to protect these children and my companions as well.
Mistress
That
Jamal,
would be why you have that sword then.
It would.
Mr. Jamal, did you say last night that you knew where the widow and child of that particular deceased gentleman currently are?
Yes, they came to me some days ago and I sent them to Thistle at House Thalavar. They're
Okay.
distant relations. I thought she would do something to assist them.
Are they- Are they here in the city?
Yes, Castle Thalavar is not far away. I'm not sure exactly where she sent them. Why do you ask?
Eric, do you want, or Elric, would you like to respond to that?
Do you want to say that out loud, Joel? Do you want to say out loud? Elric, would you care to respond to that?
I'll look at Elric.
Okay.
And just be like,
I believe that fate requires me to call upon Lady Thistle.
Lady Thistle Thalavar.
Yes.
Well, you'll be a bit of a surprise to her. Don't be surprised if she asks if you're a distant family relation.
I will not.
She's
I
easy
have
enough.
spent
to
enough time in this place not to be surprised by that.
apropos of nothing, does Lady Thistle happen to dress in clothing that matches her name? Purple?
I don't understand.
Does she wear a lot of purple to match her name?
Not that I've overwhelmingly noticed.
Okay, just
Does she
I know we're
dress
asking
in
a lot of odd
spikes?
questions.
I have a question actually, regarding outfits. I'm content to take this, but I did have a question if that offer includes some of the items that we saw upstairs.
There's a suit of armor up there you like, isn't there?
Yes.
An associate of mine left it here.
Well, if you wouldn't mind if I used it.
She hasn't come back for it in quite some time. I imagine that at least for a while, you could use it as you see fit, particularly if you're going about some important business or other. Are you about to go about some important business or other? She'll say to all of you.
I get the feeling that we are.
We try for the important. Sometimes we end up with the other. But
Question, my lady. Does this associate of yours have a public name that you would like to share?
I was about to ask.
No,
I
But-
thought as much.
but this associate of mine is in town.
Is she?
Mhm.
You did say she. I take it.
I mean, it
did
is armor
say
cut
she.
for a woman.
Yes. I don't think I was
I
giving
try
great-
not to. I try not to make assumptions.
Fair enough. She has a build very similar to yours.
She had
Hair.
very similar to hers.
Why are we suddenly so curious about my associate?
I like elves. I don't know.
I will pinch the bridge of my nose at that point. Oh God.
If you're curious
It does
about
not matter.
if you're curious about elves, there's a place not very far down the road from where we are now where you might meet a couple of them.
Truly.
Meat
Truly.
in what way?
yeah, what do you mean by meat?
Well, I suppose it would depend on the amount of coin in your pocket.
Ah, okay, good. All right.
It's a very, very a very Westgate answer to that question.
I will note. Yeah.
But
It's kind of like.
as I say, I'm happy to give you directions to Castle Thalavar so that you might check in and see what. I don't remember. One moment as the DM looks for his notes. This is why I put little tags on things. Okay.
Many thanks, my lady. We would very much appreciate that.
After our baths.
After our baths. Excellent point.
I'm assuming we
Eric,
have
it
to
sounded
go
like
milk
if
to feed the babies as well.
they're
There is
Yeah.
on the table, Randy, two small you put wine in it, wineskin style devices, which are filled with warmed sheep's milk that she has in mind for you to use to feed the babies. If you ask, she'll point that out for you.
Thank you. And I'll fight the temptation to like squirt some at Eric.
Is that a significant
Oh
temptation?
my God.
I do have one of the
Boys.
babies.
so I
yeah.
Yeah, make sure you
I,
feed
le-
it.
I lean
Yes.
into I lean into Eric and I say, "Your dream sounded somewhat urgent. Did you get the impression that was happening, like, while you were dreaming it?
I have no idea, but that's possible.
So actually, I guess I have to like reach and like bring him down to."
Yeah.
The DM found his notes.
Ah,
He will say, the widow, Elasa, the son, Gedrin, and the daughter, Phalera.
Gedrin. Yep.
Okay. Well,
I.
I mean, so we're going there, but we really need to bathe and we really need to like do all the housekeeping things. And maybe while we go there, since we're staying in town, we leave the babies here and don't take them with us to fight vampires.
Are you going to say that out loud?
Yeah.
Vampires.
fight the threats that we might face.
You'll say vampires. This is the second time now you've mentioned that.
Well, we're in Westgate, aren't we?
When we
Well, Mr.
arrived, my lady, we had an encounter with a
A
creature
vampire.
that fed upon the blood of one of our companions.
I did not know very much about vampires until fairly recently, but I've had cause to become painfully aware of them. She'll pat her shattered leg.
Oh, geez. Okay.
Someone asked me, or someone rather asked Mercy, about what happened to my basement. Let me tell you a brief tale about that. A couple of months back, some members of my street company started to go missing in larger numbers than usual. And I wasn't sure what that meant until sweet little Sarissa reappeared one night for rehearsal here at the house and nearly killed us all. We
Yes.
set the basement ablaze, destroying her, and she shattered my leg. I think that they've been hunting my people, set on them like rabid dogs by those who would want their voices quieted and the tales of small heroes untold. That is why those, she's pointing at the garlic cloves out in the entryway, festoon my house.
Sympathies, my lady.
Tragic tale. We are aware that there may be a passage from your basement into the sewers beneath the city.
My basement?
Yeah, we've heard that many of the buildings in Westgate have secret passages into the sewers. So I don't know if you've done an active search for such a thing, but it might be wise to do so.
Based upon our arrival underground, it's just a warren of tunnels that such creatures could infest. It might be prudent to make such a search.
I have heard that, but I had no reason to believe that this house had such a tunnel. Sir Dwarf, might you do me the honor of assisting me in locating it?
I would be happy to. And also, I believe that my elven friend may have some capacity at finding secret doors, so maybe we should go look.
Yes, you should take Mara. I understand that elves have a natural sense for
Bit
such
of a
things.
knack.
Yeah,
That would be
between the two of us, well, let's go have a look.
This house came into my hands from Thistle. It was her refuge of sorts. It belonged to her mother. A
This
rebellion
firehouse.
passed while Thistle was very young. Do you say that, Allie?
I will mutter that, yes.
Lady
Okay.
Thalavar owned this house, I say, to cover up Allie's mutter.
Will say yes. The house was owned by Briar Thalavar. That is the reason why sweet briar roses were planted in the garden.
Of course.
Nettle Thalavar, the grandmother of Thistle, the woman who raised her, and who died some 4 years ago in the tragic events of the year of the Banner, gifted it to her. And I think she gifted it to me and to my troop because it held unpleasant memories for her. She said nothing about secret doors in the basement.
Better safe than sorry, as we
Okay.
say in our own.
Indeed.
Banner, like,
These nights
I'll
are
even-
dark and dangerous.
I'll even sit there for a second. I'm like, here are the banner.
My lady,
Okay.
you said that your leg was injured. Have you had sufficient priestly attention?
I've seen a cleric, the Lathanderites, here in town. However, they
yes.
told me that the level of magic that would be necessary to allow me to walk without a hobble would be frighteningly expensive and difficult to acquire.
Understood. Yes.
I'm used to it, such is the nature of things in life.
I
But
am-
you owe me a tale, friend,
Of course. What tale would you like, my lady?
of God's damned Shadowbane.
Ah, yes.
I sense the possibility for a cheap hero, and the city needs cheap heroes, friend.
Well, the place where I come from, which is far away, as you have no doubt determined, Shadowbane is a legend, a hero, a cheap hero, as you will, who works the streets and the dungeons and tunnels beneath the streets, fighting evil and protecting those of the surface world. And in a place where I thought I was in great peril, it seemed a worthy thing to call upon.
So you are not this Shadowbane, you merely aspire to be like him?
It depends on how you look at it. Perhaps words make reality. Perhaps stories are true. If that is the case, then that is what I am.
Well, I think that we may be able to seek some inspiration for the performances that I have in mind for the next day or two. And at that moment, there's a knock on the front door. Anyone have any immediate reaction to that?
I mean,
At my
I would
house,
look towards the
somebody
door.
else is gonna answer it.
Are you
She'll look
expecting
over-
company?
She'll look over in that direction. May and Uldor may very well be returning. They were going to the Lathanderite church to see what they could do to treat his wounds. But unfortunately, everyone but Mercy is gone on errands for me. Would one of you be so kind as to get that? It is daytime, so I'm not expecting vampires. But
I shall.
beware.
I shall go.
Oh, all right. You go.
Well, you can come too, Mara.
Oh. All right, fine.
Okay.
We
the
head
two
to
of
the
you-
door, and I'm like,
Bring up
did
a
you
bunch of
have
wood.
to make yourself so hot? Just did you?
Look,
Like, I'm not judging. I'm just asking.
So you'll
I had an opportunity and I took it.
Fuck, that's fine. That's fine. Follow your bliss.
So you'll figure out how to unlock this door. There's lots of locks to this door. Or you could just throw that little thing in the door to look out it.
Oh yeah. I'm gonna look out.
All right. While Allie is unlocking the door, you're looking out the door.
Mhm.
It's a halfling.
Why?
Why? Older gentleman.
So I'm like craning to see.
You have to look down at first because you're expecting at sort of like eye level to find something, but you'll look down. Halfling, older gentleman, dressed colorfully. Looks like he has some sort of a musical instrument, like maybe a mandolin strung over his back. Wearing a symbol of a harp. Look above the door, it's the same symbol. He's got gray at his temples and a well-kept beard, sort of. This is the person that Randy was describing in his dream last night.
Well, fuck. We clearly got to let this guy in.
There's the
And
one.
on that note,
So much.
we'll end
That
the
paid off quickly.
And on that note, that's all the time we have for tonight. Thank you, Chris. Oh my God, this is good. This is going good places. Thank you so much, Chris. Thank you everyone for coming with us on this adventure. I have been Eric Scott DeVee. One F-bomb per show. That's our PG-13 rule, and I wanted to get it in before the wire. Once again, check out my Kickstarter.
It's not a requirement.
Exclamation point justice will take you to the link. I'll put that in the chat. Or I already have because of the time dilation. Yeah. And otherwise, take it away, Rhiannon.
Hey, I've been Rhiannon Held. Check out my space opera series under RZ Held. It is now complete if you're into that sort of thing. The Amsterdam Institute series begins with clean install. And tonight we have a giveaway for Phoenix Dice. And you still have a little bit of time to enter. One set of dice anywhere in the world. Exclamation point ticket. And also, if you go to phoenixdice.com, you can get 10% off at checkout, entering the code Dungeon Scrawlers, one word. And tonight, thanks to our moderators who aren't here playing, so Myra, Doug, and Felder.
Oh yeah, that's me. Hi, as mentioned at the top of the show, I am Alexandra Pitchford, or Allie. I guess I'm an elf now. And you can generally see me in the chat when I'm not playing as Shay Darksong. And you can check out my work at my Patreon, Alexandra Pitchford, just patreon.com/Alexandra Pitchford, where I will be posting some new stuff soon. So stay tuned to that. Otherwise, yeah, that's me today.
Yeah. I'm Randy, also known as Randonius. I've been Randonius. I am Randy. And
I am
thank you.
Randonius. No, okay.
Yeah. Thank you everybody who came and viewed and supported us, and thank you for everyone who gave to Trevor Project or subscribed. It means the world to us. And
Definitely.
Joel.
Thank you so much.
All right. Hello, everybody. I've been Joel Everett. I can see why dwarves are cranky because I'm getting an awful crick in my neck looking up at you guys. But now that I am a dwarf, I can multi-class.
Nice. Nice.
Until
that's a
next
good way
time.
to look at it.
Until next time, in the meantime, come hang out with us on the Discord, talking about all kinds of stuff, TTRPGs, art, fantasy, writing, all kinds of cool stuff. Come hang out. Chris, over to you.
All right. It has been a pleasure running you all this evening. I'm enjoying my one shot and looking forward to more 1 point something shot.
Okay, Yang Yang, hit the giveaway.
Da 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 da. Ah, sultry Shea.
Cool.
Sultry Shea. Sultry Shea. Congratulations.
Congratulations.
Gonna get some awesome dice.
Woo!
Fantastic. Welcome. Thank you. Good to see you. I hope you
Yes.
enjoy it. I hope you'll be back and you'll get some cool dice.
Well, with that, until next time, may your rolls and your word count be equally high.